Welcome everyone to the South America Cup Day 2. Together with me today was going to be Zatos. Originally Quantum was planned to be here, but I'm going to be the replacement. So we have a replacement of a replacement today happening with the duo cast. So how are you Zatos feeling today, and are you excited to see what will be the top players coming out from the South America region coming out at the top today?
Now, SRK, you may have filled in for me yesterday, but I could not miss the semi-finals and finals. All these players have been working so hard and really been trying their absolute best to get here. So I can't really say except I'm really excited.
Yeah, it's going to be quite crazy. Actually, some of the matches are about already set. So we're going to be watching the winners bracket final, which is going to be some of the players who might be witnessing who came from the top of the side. So it's going to be, let's just say, a bit of a Latin America versus Brazil matchup between some of the top players of this field. It's going to be between Charles, Manox, Matt, and Radiaxo. Will be the four players who will be coming out on this match. So probably most people are familiar with Matt, maybe with Manox as well, but Charles is also definitely the players who might have stepped up their game so far.
I couldn't agree with you more. Now, all of these players have come so far. So if people don't know from yesterday, they've already played a few rounds against others, and they are in the upper bracket finals. Is there anyone you're really sitting to be a strong contender here?
So of course Matt and the Manox are looking as but there's two mistakes already happening early on already, as Matt now at the moment has a solid lead, and Radiano already with a not the fortunate mistake. Currently Charles is in second place. I personally would love to see Charles making it through, as he's one of the biggest underdogs between the fight of the Brazilians, as he's starting to catch up to Matt. Has way more exit speed and is actually about to snipe him almost at the end, but Matt still secures the plus 10 points at the opening of the round.
What a great start for a lot of these players. They're really showing up right now. A lot of players take a little bit of time to get ready, get a bit, into the mood of how they want to play. But it's looking like we've already got decent times coming out. As we are getting to the next round, I'm hoping to see all players have a close competition, as Matat is starting off in the lead with Charles nearby. All these players have practiced so hard for this, as one player is out making it a 3-horse race. Matat is slightly in the lead. Charles does have a slightly outside exit speed, as he is trying to catch up here. Manox with a really good exit is trying to catch up right now, but just isn't able to. It's just looking like he's just not able to keep up the players in front. Matat gets a good exit line as he's trying to go past the next corner. On this map, you'll see a lot of dirt and grass, which you have to go as far out as you need to for this to get as much speed as possible. Matat's still in the lead. Charles is chasing. Manox is trying to keep up. It's looking like Manox is just not able to keep up with him, as they are nearing the ending here. As there's a massive mistake coming out, leaving Matat in the lead. If he doesn't make any crucial mistakes here, he will be getting another 10 points here. Is looking like he will be getting a big lead as he goes for the last exit jump, and that's a secure 20 points for him.
Yeah, Matt actually having quite a lot of consistency issues yesterday. Definitely starting to have a bit of a step up today. Actually, Rodiano not having a full finish. Even on top of that, he was a bit late to the match. That made it a bit delayed originally. Same as Quantum today from the casting seat as well.
I'm not allowed to talk bad about him because of yesterday not showing up. As okay, I'm sorry, my man.
Yeah, it's all fine. As so far it does seem like that now Charles is the one with an early mistake. Radianos now still stays up in the race with fighting a 1v1 between Matt and Radiano for those extra 10 pointers and a slot to potentially grand final as well. So in this tournament, the top 6 players will get a bit of prize money, so all these players are at least secured at least some base already. Manox having a beautiful exit speed coming out from that turn. Matt is still leading the race with Radiano in second place. A little bit of closer rounds comparing to yesterday. Matt still has a solid lead. There's a lot of risking here, a lot of clips popping up from this side. Matt almost touches the inside line, but still Manox is maintaining the second position. Same with Radiano, as Charles is out of this race. Matt coming out the last turn will be the one who secures the leading position. Radiano goes for a bit more safer approach, but it's not enough, and Matt will secure another plus 10 points. Manox in second with plus 6, Radiano with third, and Charles finishes at least with the plus 3 in the end.
Matt seems to be consistently in first place right now. Everybody else is making a few mistakes, making a few bumps. Maybe they just woke up a few minutes ago, but Matt has been practicing these maps and it's really showing. As even in the start here, he's got a slight lead on the others, but Manox and Charles are trying to keep up here. This is the first time Manox has been close to him, as they overtake him, as he did seem to lose a gear. So it's between Charles and Manox We'll have to see if there's going to be somebody who will be taking first place away from Matt. Right now, Mannix is in the lead. We haven't seen this before. We'll have to see if it will get to him, as it does seem to get to Matt. A big mistake coming out of him, meaning he will be out the race. It will be between Charles and Man for who is going to be getting first place here. Mannix is in the lead, but we'll have to see if he keeps it. Both of these players have not won a round yet. It'll be super crucial for them to get this. It's all about these tight corners. If they're able to do it, as Charles makes a massive mistake, leaving it all to Mannix. If Mannix doesn't make any crucial mistakes here, he will stay first place and he will get his first win of these rounds right now, as he's going for the final corner, and it's looking like a safe ending with a 55.8. A good time coming out of him, with Charles in second and Matt in third.
Yeah, definitely went a bit of a fiesta round this time, but Mannix did manage to secure that plus 3. As Radiano also, again, not having that finish in, definitely putting himself in the position to potentially be sent to lower side of the bracket. He does securing already prize money positions, but it all depends on how much, and also since this is the first event in the South American region, so that, you know, Pride, usually the first event is also a bit easier comparing to other events, especially when the whole scene gets a bit more experience in the long term as well. So it kind of gives a bit more opportunity to have that basically to take on the very first win so far. So now if we're going into map 2, currently points for Matt are at 34. Him just dropping one of the rounds, making him lose a bit of speed, a bit of points here and there. However, he still has a pretty solid lead. Mannix in second place, Charles in third, and Valiano at the moment is in fourth place so far. So it will still, of course, can be anyone's race, but Matt definitely starting to put himself as a potential favorite so far.
I would love to see Radiano do a lot better on this map. Now, this map has something that a lot of Trackmanias are known for disliking, and that is water. It seems like in this warm-up round, they've been quite consistent on it so far, as Charles and Matt are so close to the edge there, trying to push themselves to the limit. Now, there's one benefit to going against other amazing players, is you have to push yourself harder. You have to, you know, try and get tighter lines. So you may try and see some people get some personal bests here. At least I hope to see that, as all of these maps on really seem to be not one style, but have all styles in it, with even a little bit of plastic in it.
Well, the maps themselves are very survival based, I would say. It's very easy to make a mistake, and there's a bunch of places on certain maps where there's like a one optimal line, but it's like a ridiculously tight gap. And if you don't make it, you lose a bunch of gears and you lose all of the momentum gains from all the previous parts of the map. As currently it seems like, I believe it was Manox who actually slid out, kind of a bit hard to see with the names underwater. But currently Matt is in a pride stand, I believe, following by Charles and Radiano in second and third. Small bump from Radiano's side puts Matt currently in a pretty solid plus 10 point position, following by Charles currently in second place. Matt has a quite solid lead, Manox is quite far behind with plus 6 seconds so far. Radiano is at the moment is around 0.6. So a small mistake from the top two players will allow Radiano to overtake and give a smile to his side, as Charles has a small mistake also from Radiano's side. So a very basically kind of synced timing coming from both players' mistakes, as Matt has a quite solidified lead so far. No many huge, so we're kind of seeing a similar round as there was yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. Where, you know, the gaps were quite big, where you couldn't really even see the next upcoming car on the match field. But it seems like Matt will be taking a quite solidified another plus 10 putter with the 105 time as well, as Radiano will be cashing in that second place with the plus 6 points. Charles in third, and Manox will be able to finish. He was only 3/10 off the finish timeout in the very end, but still got those extra plus 3 points in the end.
Now, with Matt, he did get a PB in the warm-up round, so it's really seeming like he is feeling this map here. So we'll have to see if he's able to do it again. But with a map that's 1 minute long, it's to be expected that some players are going to be making mistakes. Most Trackmania players aren't used to maps at over 40 or 50 seconds, as there is a big mistake coming out from Matt right there. So it's looking like this won't be his round here, as Manox does have a big lead. We'll have to see if Radioxa or Charles is going to catch up with them, as they are trying to fight for second place here. It's looking like Manox is in a clear favourite of a lead. but this is not going well for the side of Matt. He needs to try and do something to catch up, or he's going to be getting caught up in the ratings right now. As 2 mistakes came out from 2 of the players, allowing Matt to get up to 2nd place right now, as Manox is still in 1st place, if I can see here. Nope, Manox makes a massive mistake, allowing all 3 players to catch up to him right now. This map is just making so many players have mistakes, as there is a fight for 1st place. Manox versus Matt. Is Matt able to come from 4th place for making a mistake at the start to making it to 1st place right now? It's all on this ice bend here. It's between Manox and Matt. It's looking like Matt just understands this ice to a T. But no, a massive bonk from the side there allows Manox to take over. So close, but he just pushed himself too far, allowing Manox to get first.
Yeah, it was not enough, that small bump allowed to like Manox just to squeeze in just tiny bit before then. We couldn't manage catch it on camera properly. The Manox sniped a bit, but yeah, it doesn't seem like it that there was, you know, the best approaches coming from these guys, as Matt has a bit of an early mistake so far. Let's put him a small disadvantage at the start of the round. Charles is currently leading the field. However, Vadiano is trying to overtake. Charles has a small touch, same with Matt. As Vadiano currently is leading the field with Manox in 2nd place. Charles in a close 3rd. But it does seem like that the gaps are going to be quite big on the upcoming sides. Definitely, I would say the biggest gaps I have seen from all of the regional tournaments I have witnessed.
It really depends. Have you seen American Open or the British and Irish Cup? Maybe you've heard of somebody named Pac or Carl Jr. Those 2 usually get quite a big lead on the others.
Yeah, there's a bunch of inconsistencies, I would say, are coming from this side. But so far, it does seem like keeping in terms of consistency, Vadiano and Manox are the ones who are at the top. Manox is a bit more inside line, had to readjust his angle. Vadiano still overtakes with the 106, getting the +10 for in the very end. Manox with the +6, Charles in 3rd with the +4, and Matt with a bunch of mistakes just summing up, but like rolling together, will get the +3 in the very end.
It's looking like the map of Harmonic isn't really working for any of these players. None of these players seem to really enjoy this map so far, as a lot of mistakes are coming out. We did see a PB come out from Matt before the round started, but he's just not really able to keep the consistency he had in the warm-up rounds, as he is trying to fight for this 1st place right now against Charles. Charles has been staying near the front quite a bit, as Matt makes another crucial mistake there, allowing Manox to take him over. It's between Charles and Manox in 1st. We have Matt in 4th. And then we have Radiox quite far behind. It's looking like it just isn't his map right now. It's looking like it just may not be his series so far. Hopefully he'll do better on the next map, as Charles and Manox are super close, but Matt does know his dirt lines, as you can tell right here. He is trying to catch up right now. He's trying to get himself to 1st place. He is only around 8 points in front of Manox right now, so he really needs to catch up here right now, or his lead will get squandered so quickly right now, as all players are still fighting. Manox has quite a considerable lead. Charles is taking an outside line that Matt is taking advantage of. He has caught up to him. It's all on this ice line. A lot of players aren't good at the ice line, as Manox seems to have got it correct. Same with Matt, and it seemed like it's going to be a 1-2, but a crucial mistake comes out from Charles. But it's just looking like Radiox is too far behind, so it doesn't matter.
Wait, what happened with Charles? You kind of just disapparated from the screen. What happened?
No, he just disappeared. Well, I've got an idea. Right? Maybe he understood that there were so big gaps between all these players that he could take a little leisurely stroll. He could stay on the ice, relax for a bit, and then go in.
You know, I know on my end, he just touched the finish and just disappeared. But yeah, that's a kind of thing that happens with such finishes. There had been a couple of slide outs yesterday happening at the very end as well. So definitely had been quite big gaps happening, especially comparing to winners bracket final, comparing at least the AOTC they had, like where most rounds were like every single round. I would say like 60% of rounds was like, oh, the winner time was and the loser was like between 0.6. So you just gotta get used to those regional events, and usually the consistency times just with having more and more like rounds experience coming from more events. So exactly. Everyone starts somewhere. And especially since most of these guys have been kind of used to the older games, and like with the new game, how to compete it and play rounds in it is a bit of a completely different story. And kind of still lovely to see that there's a bunch of other like newer regions, you can say like that, with the regional events popping up with some bit of prize pool as well. Normally in South America scene there has been some, I would say a bit more casual events, within the Chile scene, also within the Brazilian scenes. There are some events a bit more casually oriented. But this is like one of the bigger one with some bit of cash prize on top of that. So it's always love to see that something like this pops up that kind of starts the whole snowball rolling in terms of competitive development regionally. We're going to be starting our first round on Love Dive by Superlaw map that has a quite interesting and bit unique transitions that are kind of, I would say, very close to the way how Superlaw has made, because he has this pattern with like rings and you put like this ringed objects in the middle. And we might see some interesting transitions as well due to that. So we have two people already having a bit of an early mistake early on. So it's a bit of a 1v1 between Matt and Manox for those plus 10 pointers at the very end. Manox does have a small extended lead. We're starting to get to build upon over even to 0.3 of a second so far. Bit of an oversteer from Manox's side, but still managed to make it as Matt does hit the side on the plastic side. Vadiano, it actually puts himself in the second position as Charles puts himself in third with that mistake coming out from Matt. Currently, Manox is leading the field with Radiano in second place, Charles in third, with Charles getting a small no slide. Allows Matt to overtake. Max up quite a bit of momentum as there was a mistake from Radiano. Allows also Matt to overtake. And due to that, Matt is now fighting for that second place, where Radiano is very close. Trying to catch him up. Bit of an oversteer from Matt's side, but Matt still managed to snag that middle part. It's actually Manox with a 102.2. Very good time coming out from Manox. And now due to that, he equalizes the points between him and Matt for the top field of the match.
Now, SRK, this is starting to feel a bit more like a competition. With the map before, a lot of the players just didn't understand how the water and the ice work, but it's starting to, you know, really come into their comfort zone. You did say before that they are used to the older maps, and this one has a lot of tech and dirt oriented playstyles, which they will be slightly more used to than the other styles here. So we'll have to see if this will come into it right now. Matt was really strong in the first round, but he's been teetering on the other rounds between it. The other maps, we'll have to see if this map is going to be the one for him. He does have a slight lead with himself right now, as a lot of players are making mistakes. It just looks like these players just haven't practiced enough on these maps, as Manox is trying to fight against Matt. These two are the two players who will most likely be going to do if it stays like this right now. Matt is still in first with quite a considerable lead, but Manox is slightly catching up right now. He has a little bit more speed than him. He does this line slightly tighter. It's all about this dirt. It's looking like both players do about the same as they do come onto plastic. This is where a lot of people make mistakes. Plastic is a material that people are not used to, but it's looking like both players are going to keep up as they come into the final corner, and it's going to be a safe, smooth ending with Matt in first, Manox in second, as there is still a fight, but Radiox will be getting third. And if Charles, is he even going to finish? It's looking like he was just too far behind to finish.
Definitely these maps are very, very punishing in terms of way how just one mistake allows to snowball for the rest of the mistakes. It's a bit of like the polar opposite to the AOTC map, where there was one map that was pace-wise, which just kind of allowed it to snowball, but here it's kind of similar thing with mistakes. You just get one mistake and then it snowballs and snowballs until you can't even finish right with the finish timeout. As it's very survivalship maps, so like since they're very, very difficult in the way how they're built, I would say one of the hardest maps I have seen from all the regional competitions so far. So currently we have Matt and Manox currently leading the field. However, Charles is in a very close third place so far. Vadiano actually not too far off as well in this round, but it seems like there's quite of a fight for the top two positions. So far, Matt with a small touch from the inside line. Same with Manox, allows Charles for that clean overtake for those potentially plus 10 pointers, which allows him to get in that solid lead. It seems like Manox had a bit of a better recovery coming out of the mistakes, as he will be securing the plus 6 at the very end of this first round.
Different playstyles you can really take in this tournament right now, as it is one of the lower tier tournaments with a wide scene in the in the wide scene. You can have a lot of players coming in and trying to go for more of a consistency route. You don't have to be the best to win the tournament right now. If you want to get to the next round, maybe consistency is your key right now, as Radioxo is catching up right now to Manox just because he hasn't made a mistake. Two players in 20 seconds have made mistakes, as two players are slightly further in front. Manox does have the better line. It does look like Matt and Manox understand this map a lot better than the other two, but we'll have to see if Matt is able to catch up. If he wants to, he needs to push himself, and if you push yourself too hard, you will make mistakes right now. As he is still quite far behind, he has got to do a lot. He can't let Manox get too far in front of him, or he won't be able to catch up in later rounds, as Manox does just seem to have such a consistent lead right now. And it's looking like it's a 1-2-3-4 right now. All players seem to be staying in their lanes, not getting too close to each other. So it's all depending on if anybody makes a big mistake. If they don't, all stuff will stay the same right now. As we do have Manox still in the lead as they do come into the final corner. Manox in first, Radiox in second, Matt in third, and Charles in fourth.
Quite still solidified positions at the end parts of the round. Manox does get that plus 10 pointer, does allow him to now squeeze himself in the lead in terms of total points wise. However, there's gonna be a bit of a split field that I have a bit of a pattern I have actually noticed in this event. That always there's like two players who kind of stand out, and there's kind of a split field being created. And at the moment, that's the same case with Manox and Matt kind of being a tiny bit one tier higher than their opposition, while as Charles and Radioxo have to do some bit of catch-up, as they have over 30 points a difference so far, but anything can still happen with Cup Mode, and they can put themselves into the final, as this is the winners bracket final. The top two players from this match will be put into the grand final afterwards, as bottom two players will be put into lower bracket final that will be played out afterwards this match.
Now, SRK, we are on the map momentum. We'll have to see if any of these players really feel this map, as it looked like Matt's first map was his one. But I can't really say that any other players really had a map so far that they really have enjoyed, as Manox and Matt in the warm-up round seem to, you know, be quite consistent on this, but they only have one run so far. On this map, it is mostly plastic, dirt, and a little bit of normal road, so we'll have to see if any of these players fancy getting a really good time on here right now, as we do have about 13 seconds till they get in. Who do you think? Who do you think is going to take this, Manox or Matt, for first place?
Matt has definitely looked the best pace-wise on this one, at least according to yesterday's what we saw, where he was doing even 0.2, 0.3 from world records. So definitely something to note, but we'll see. It's, you know, today is a different day, and some kind of other changes might happen. Some other players might have a better map feel to this as well.
Something has changed right now. Radioxo is finally keeping up with the pack. It's looking like he isn't as far behind right now, as Charles seems to be the one who is slightly further behind. But Matt is looking like this is his map so far right now, but Charles is trying to get a little bit of a catch up right now. We don't know what player is best on plastic, so there may be a few catch up on that, as Charles does take an inside line, which does allow him to catch up. But Manox out of nowhere snipes that second place for him and is hunting for this first. Look at that speed. Seems like he really does understand the lines on this map. Maybe this is the map for him. So he does have a small lead on others, as Charles does take over Matt right now, but Manox makes a crucial mistake on there. Same with Charles allowing Radioxa and for Manox to take a lead right now. Radioxa has not won a round right now. We'll have to see if this is going to be his first one, and it will be. Radioxa does take first place with 58.6.
Yeah, Radioxo definitely needs those extra points. The fact he managed to snag in that extra round, it starts to, like, let's just say, squeeze in the playing field just a tiny bit, with a small squeeze that's reducing the points lead from the first to last players. But, you know, still quite a bit of points left to go to have a saying. But there's quite a bit of a match left as well, as we're playing to 140 points. So there's going to be quite a bit of a matchup happening. So there's going to be extended match comparing the two we usually see, where it's around like 70 or 100 points in a cup mode. So definitely a bit of a different match length altogether. Because currently Manox and Matt are leading with the 1-2 so far. Charles in a pretty close third place. Radioxo with a pretty early mistake so far. Or it seems like that approach from Charles is starting to become quite useful from his end, as they're starting to reduce the points lead. However, not the best of drifts, and a bit not the best of touches as well. Puts himself at the bottom of the scoreboard, as there's Matt is really trying to force for that lead so far. However, Manox has way better exit speed coming from the other parts, and he has way more entry. However, he loses a bit of momentum, and that will allow him barely to make the risky finish, but it will be still enough to get that plus 10 pointer at the end of the round.
It looks like Manox skipped a beat as he just barely got over the edge right there. You saw a little bonk on the side or at the bottom of his car, but he barely makes it, which is good to see. But one thing I do like to see is at least Manox and Matt, they may have a slight lead on the others, but they really pushing each other. They aren't going here being like, I'm just going to play this safe, I'm going to get to the finals, or the grand finals, and just sit there comfortably. They want to be able to get to the grand finals and crush the competition. Like right now, Matt has a considerable lead on the others right now, but Manox is right on his tail. Charles and Radioxa are trying to catch up right now, but it's just looking like they just aren't on the same pace as the other two right now. These two players are fighting it out. They're trying their best to take over inch by inch. They're trying to take the better line than the other one, but each time one takes over, the other one fights back as both go for a nice line here. It's looking like Matt does have a lead, but Manox just understands this, so he goes further out, so he will have more speed. We'll have to see if it makes up for it. It's looking like it isn't right now, but there's a lot of the map to go, so we'll have to see if he's able to catch up. Matt does have a big lead, but Manox takes the inside line. He is trying to catch up, but it's just not looking like it's going to happen. And Matt is going to take the round with Manox in second, Charles in third, and Radioxa in fourth.
Yeah, definitely Matt is starting to cash in those extra points. Yesterday he wasn't looking that great in terms of total standings as well, but this time around starting to get those extra plus 10 pointers in. Manox is still leading the match in terms of total points ranking. However, there's quite a bit of match still left to be played, so there's still quite of opportunities to be done and to be made as well. Currently a small bump only from Manox's side puts him a bit back at the field, but no major mistakes so far in the early parts of the map. No clips as well as we have seen coming from this part. Looks like Radioxa with way more exit speed comparing to Matt. A bit too much airtime as well, as Matt starting to increase the lead by a tiny bit of an oversteer coming from the middle part. Matt does still maintain his lead so far. Charles with a small mistake from the middle part. Does seem like Manox and Radioxa are trying to catch Matt at this very moment. Small pre-drift from Matt's side, trying to readjust a bit more inside side as Radioxa, this clip from the outside part, gets pushed out for the outside, has to respawn now. And that allows Charles now to get the overtake. Currently Matt is leading a reel, has a pretty solid speed, should make the risky jump, and that's actually baked with a 57.6, which is not too bad of a time as well. But the gaps are starting to increase a bit as well, but due to that Matt is starting to also close in terms of total points amount. However, now there's basically almost double amount of points between the third and second place so far in this match.
I couldn't agree with you more. Now, do you know we may have another caster in here with us, SRK?
Who could it be?
I don't know. It might be somebody who appeared late. Who do you think it could be?
No, I'm not late. No, you're wrong.
Well,
You've got me wrong.
It's okay, at least you showed up. You did better than I did, didn't you? Look, can we not talk about it? Can we not talk about it, okay?
All right, SRK, do you want to keep going? I guess you do, right?
We can swap you in, yeah, we can swap you in then.
All right.
I just felt bad for him. Poor SRK having to cover twice for both of us. We're meant to be the main casters here, and this poor man who's doing production in the back is also helping us cast. What's a man?
Yeah, have to have the backup in, ready, so...
SRK, we're so sorry.
Yeah, but we got you covered. It's all good. It's all good.
It's all good. Hey, listen, at least there are 3 more rounds left to be played, right? There's a lot more Trackmania left for both of us here, Zapdos and I, and of course SRK now. You get to relax, you get to finally sleep in the background, right?
Yeah, I will slowly lurk into the background at the moment. So now Quantum and Zapdos now can do all of their main job right now.
Yes, we will hopefully make you proud on that. Now, Quantum, are you in the match?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I can let you go first because you know all the storylines, but you can get us on going here.
But Quantum, I have one question beforehand. Are you ready?
I am the most ready I've ever been. I've been hyped up all day for this. And then I won't say what happened, but I got delayed, let's say.
That's okay, that's okay. At least we have you here. Now, in first place, we do have the beautiful man who's made a little bit of a crash here, Manox, which isn't what we like to see. We have Matat and Radioxa fight for first place. It's good to see Radioxa is trying to keep up here. Matat almost clips there, but is able to keep up right now as we are on the map. How do you even say that? Timberhead featuring Shrimp TM.
Timberhead featuring Shrimp TM. Yeah, that's the secondary guy's name, obviously.
Okay, that does make sense. That does make sense. But in first place right now, Matt is still there. But Radioxa does have a lot of speed, and he is trying to catch up. But a small bonk at the end allows him to get second place right now. Matat with a 54.5, which isn't bad to see at all, as Charles will be finishing just on time. And it's looking like our first place man, Manox, will not be getting any points there, sticking to 115.
Yeah. And just for anyone who obviously remembered yesterday how it was first to 120 points before finalists, we now have first to 140. So maybe people thought, oh, we're getting close to there, or maybe you guys talked about it some rounds before I came on. But yeah, we have still 18 points left between Matt and Finalist Mode and Manix. He is 25 points away. Speaking of both of them, they are in the fight for the lead. Radiaxo is right behind them as well, but not really in the fight to get up against Matt right now. He's fighting more with Manix for that second place. I mean, those 2 extra points do mean a lot at the end of the day, but Radiaxo and Charles really far behind, and well, Matt and Manix both hit into the walls, and there goes Radiaxo getting those 10 points for himself, unless something catastrophic were to happen in this final section here. But it looks like Radiaxo will be just fine in the airborne with a 54.6. And yes, of course, the first thing I do is caster curse Matt and Manix to make the match even closer than it needs to be.
Most enjoyable thing though, we always love good Trackmania. We don't care for what player wins, all we want is some good gameplay to watch, and right now we do have some good gameplay here as we are nearing the finalist mode. Matt and Manox are very close to it. Radioxa and Charles need to step up if they want to do so, and it seemed like Radioxa is understanding this map. It seemed like this is maybe where he put most practice in. It's him and Matt at the front right now. Radioxa, I'm expecting big things from him here. I want to see him to be able to catch up right now, taking a slightly outside line. He might have more speed on the exit, but Matt, nope, it's looking like Matt is going to be taking a slight lead on him right now. We look further into the back. Charles is in third place, slightly further back, looking like he won't be catching up anytime soon. So it's all between Radioxa and Matt for who will be taking the first place right now. Matt does have a slight lead, but look at Radioxa with the inside line, having so much speed. It's looking like he just needed a little bit of time to warm up, and he is warming up right now. It's looking like Matt is just able to understand the ending slightly better as he flies in with a 54.2, and it is looking like Manox is going to finish the round.
Radiaxo might be really good on this map, but is it too little too late here? Because Matt just needs to finish this next round, and he'll be finalist on the next map. And you look at Manix, who keeps on losing some points here. He's not even finishing these rounds, and that is really costing him. And I mean, he's still down to 18 points until he gets himself up into finalist. That's at least 2 rounds minimum, and he'd need to win both of them. So 3 rounds if he got second place every single time. But well, luckily for him, since he doesn't seem to like this map too much, he's only got 1 more round to do on it.
We'll have to see if he's able to do anything with that, if he's able to, you know, keep up with this. Right now, Manox is in third place. This isn't his strongest suit, but right now it's looking like he is starting to understand a little bit more of the map here. Seeming like the nerves have gone as Manox is in first place. Matt does take a slightly inside line as Radioxa is on their tail right now. All 3 of these players could take first place right now on this round. Matt and Manox, they've been fighting all of these rounds so far as they come into the final. Who's going to take it? And it's looking like Matt is going to steal it away. The slight bonk on the side of Manox just allows Matt to just swoop in and take her at 54.49.
It wasn't even the bonk. That was not a bonk. He was just in the air. He was airborne. And because of his front being up in the air, right, he looked like an eye instead of just a straight line. He was vertical instead of horizontal. And so because of that, he actually was ahead, but behind came his arch rival, and bang, Matt came in first because his wheels went ahead, but his center of gravity was still behind.
Makes sense. That kind of reminds me of Forza. You know when they have those epic jumps where you have like you in your car and then you have like a massive plane over the top? It kind of feels like that. So you have Manox looking down below like, no, this can't be happening, as Matt just comes swooping in with a smile, just stealing the round away. But talking about rounds here, we are back onto the first map, DMN8. and it's looking like Matt really understands this map, even though it's made by Manox. So we'll have to see if Manox, now he's warmed up, is able to fight against Matt, as Matt is on Finalist Mode, which means that he needs to win one more round and he will be going to the Grand Finals.
Yeah, one more round win, and he's off to the Grand Finals. Manox here, 12 points away. Radiaxo with a nice little comeback, though, of his own. He is 50 points away, but that 50 points is still relatively not too far away. It is just winning 4 rounds in a row here, and if Matt, let's say, wins this round, right, and Manox really starts to struggle, Radiaxo has a really good chance of winning at least 3 rounds on this map here. And with Charles just right behind him, same thing can go for him.
Quantum, who's taking this? Who's going to take the finalist?
Well, I see Matt here taking it for sure. I mean, there's so many opportunities for him to get into the Grand Finals, because he can still come in second place. It won't really matter. Seeding doesn't matter at this point anymore, right? So
Radioxa makes a mistake.
Yeah, he does. It's sad. He'll find himself all the way back into 4th, but with Matt here, he's got over 7 opportunities at minimum to get himself into Grand Finals. And
he's flying.
Yeah, he's flying on top of that. I would highly doubt he messes up the finish 7 times in a row. That would mean not just screwing up on this round, on this map, for all 4 times, but screwing up on the next map 3 out of the 4 times. Well, there's one of them, but he's still in the big lead. Actually, everyone behind him has completely failed out of the round. Manox, though, will still be able to grab it because of the full reset Matt had to do. Oh my goodness, despite the fact that he had such a big lead, he was able to screw it up. A 1-minute time wins this map when normally it's in the mid-50s. And Matt is not happy with himself. I completely cursed him there.
Yes, actually, Matt wanted to go for the world record there. Apparently, he was on world record pace, so he wanted to make a statement going to the Grand Finals, but it looks like it just wasn't going his way right there. But we do know how good Matt is on this map. Even in the start here, look at the pace he has over the rest of his players. He may not be strongest on some of the other maps, but it's looking like this map is his calling. It's looking like this map is the thing that gets to him. But Charles, talking about him right now, he is starting to keep up with Matt. Matt doesn't have an easy way to the Grand Finals. He needs to fight for this. He needs to make sure that he at minimum gets a really strong round out, or people will be catching up. Manox and Charles are on his tail. Charles has got so much speed right now. He's trying to catch up as Manox in the back takes over to second place. Matt with a slightly outside line. He doesn't have enough speed to beat Manox right now. He goes for an inside line now. Will that count it? Manox is gone. Thing is gone as well, and it's looking like Charles is going to take over for first place right now. If Charles doesn't make a mistake, they're going to stop Matt from getting to the Grand Finals for another round and land them to catch up. And it's looking like Matt does have to wait another one.
Seems like Charles struggled a lot during this winner bracket semi-final. Winner bracket final, I should say. How was is that his first round win?
I believe
possibly.
That is hard to say. Radioxa definitely has run around, yeah. But no, Charles definitely has won around.
Okay. So, okay. Thank you, SRK, for that information. So, no, it is not the first time he wins a round in this map here, but not on this map specifically. I just meant in this match here.
Charles is showing
very
up.
Nice to see. Yeah, he's showing up. He's showing up on this map. No, who's not showing up on this map, though, is Manox. He is in Finalist Mode finally, though. And I mean, Matt here as well. He's had 2 opportunities at the bullet. You'll have plenty more on the cards here. So will Manox, who's behind by 4/10. Charles is also in this fight, wanting to ruin, once again, both of their days. And Charles, look at the speed he gets out of that corner, but he's got a bad dirt, and because of that, he's got less speed over on the engine off block. And so Matt, he's got the world to himself. He'll win, and he'll get himself into the Grand Finals with Charles right behind, and Radiaxo in 4th place. And look at that. That means that Charles and Radiaxo, both of them, are really close to each other still. And with Matt having won, Manox now has an opportunity. He has over 6 tries at this bullet.
We've seen Matt and Manox being the main leaders for the whole entire campaign so far, for this whole entire series. But Manox has been making a few more mistakes. Charles is really showing up. So we'll have to see if Manox is able to get a win and stop anyone from taking his grand final spot. Charles is quite far behind Manox right now as he makes a massive mistake. It's all up to Radioxa. If Manox makes no mistake here and keeps up his pace, he will be getting to the grand finals. But we'll have to see if he's going to do it. Radioxa is on his tail. He does need to do a lot here. Radioxa has been having trouble trying to keep up with the rest of the players. But we'll have to see if he's able to do anything here. Good slide coming out from both, but Manox just understands his own map. The benefit of building a map is you really know the way you're meant to play it. As Manox is nearing the end right now, there's no big areas to make mistakes anymore, and it's looking like Manox is going to swipe away any opportunity for the rest of them, allowing Manox to get to the grand finals.
And it's GG's in chat for Manox and for Matt, who both make it into the grand finals. And so now Radiaxo and Charles will find themselves in the Consolidation Finals, where they will find the winners of the loser bracket finals. So the loser bracket finals are up next, and the two players who win there will meet Charles and Radiaxo. And then whoever gets top 2 in that match will find themselves in the grand finals.
You always have to remember that these players, they aren't out yet. Radioxa is not out of the running. Neither is Charles. So we'll have to see if these players can really come up. They understand what areas they aren't doing too well in, as they've had a whole entire match to figure it out. So we'll have to see what preparations they're going to do. See how they're going to change their mindset to try and come into the next match and come in for a win.
Right, exactly. It's gonna be very different, but now we've got the loser bracket finals first, and for new players that we've not seen on the stream today, we're gonna have a match between Alpenche, Borgel, Doggery, and Asmanero. Asmanero being one of the surprising players to be down in the loser bracket. So early on, he found himself in the quarterfinals of the loser bracket, if I do recall correctly, and he's made it all the way to the loser bracket finals. Would be nice to see him in the Consolidation Finals. Alpenche, another great Brazilian player, finding himself down the loser bracket. We've seen him a couple of times here on this channel as well. Vorgel, a great Chilean player who we've seen a couple of times, I do believe, for TSCC, and Dogiri, who I've not seen before but is really showing up big.
I wouldn't agree with you even more. He's looking like he is one of the strong Chilean players here, as we are, getting all the players in, trying to get nice and comfy for these rounds to start. Is this the start of the rounds?
No. I mean,
okay.
They're not even in the match.
That's very true. Now, Quantum, it seems like we will be going for a small break in a second.
Yeah, we're gonna go on a break, and then when we come back, I'm gonna annoy you until the match gets underway. How about that?
Remember, I'm British. Don't be too mean, please.
I mean, you can make fun of me as well. All right, we will be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Onto a break we go. We'll be back.
See you soon.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we are back for SAC, the South America Cup, as I get kicked out of the server. Great. Great stuff. As, you know what else is great? My little partner here in Zatos. How are you, my friend?
I am splendid, Quantum. It's been a while since I've cast with you, you know. One of my favourites, I'll have to say, to cast with. But do you know what is also one of my favourites? Cast is something amazing, Trackmania. And we have plenty of players here who are definitely in that category.
Oh, definitely, as we're into the lower bracket finals now. Only 3 more matches until the end of today, you know? We've only got 3 more matches, and this one is what's going to kick off these final 3. So, the lower bracket finals then go into the Consolidation Finals, which is top 6, and then top 4, which will be the grand finals. So, the 2 losers of this match will be eliminated. The 2 winners of this match go on to the Consolidation Finals. In the Consolidation Finals, the bottom 2 eliminated. The top 2 go to the Grand Finals. And in the Grand Finals, everything is on the line.
And we cannot wait to see what players are going to get through there. Remember, all players have lost a minimum of 1 round to be here. So these players do understand what losing is. And the thing is, you can't learn if you don't make mistakes. And all these have made enough mistakes to be here right now. Getting to the lower bracket final is very impressive on its own. But we'll have to see if they're able to push themselves further and get themselves to the actual finals.
So, while we're here, I hope everyone's had a good rest, right? Of course, I've had a decent sleep. Did you have a good sleep? I mean, I see a bed frame, but I don't see a mattress over there. How do you sleep over there, Zaf?
Oh, I'll quickly show you.
Oh my goodness! How'd that get there?
It's
what?
Yeah, it's because it's camo. What can I say? Yes. Well, no, I actually slept quite well after yesterday being in London. That's the reason I wasn't here. I got very tired. I slept for about 10 hours, and then now I'm raring and ready to go for some amazing Trackmania.
Yeah, of course, a good night's sleep does that to everyone. I'm sure these players have had. Hopefully, they've had good sleep, right? Some players, I'm sure, have stressed out. They've maybe not slept as much as they want to. Maybe some have slept over what they want to, and hey, listen, are just ready for it. And those that aren't ready for it, I mean, a good energy drink will get you back into it, won't it?
I wouldn't agree with you more there. Now, energy drinks, I've had a fair few. On the course I am, it is quite hectic. But it's not as hectic as playing in a very competitive tournament as this, as it's do or die for these players. We do have a few more minutes before they will start up. We're waiting for a few players to get in here, as we are just checking on everything, seeing if everybody is here.
So we are waiting for the other actually casts, because of course we don't just have the English cast here, right? Just like for AOTC.
We are the best, by the way.
Oh yeah. Of course we are the best. But can you say the same? Can the Brazilians say the same thing, right? Because they wanted their Portuguese cast, so they got it, right? Beta BR is casting over on Trackmania BR, and of course there's Says, who's casting in Spanish as well for any Latin American who wants to listen in Spanish. But of course we've got the English going here.
But we don't have just the English. Remember, we do have a French cast as well. Would you like to give us a little bit of French real quick?
Ben oui, bien sûr. Même s'il y a personne ici qui est français, là. Bonjour tout le monde. J'espère que vous allez bien. And I'm gonna go back into English now because no one understood anything I said because there's no French person here.
There must be at least one French person in chat.
Is there a French person here?
Come on,
okay, Simo doesn't count. Simo does not count, okay? Oh, wait, there are some French people. No, there are some French people here. Maybe I could have gone with the French cast, you know? Let SRK cast in English and I just do my own thing on my channel. Nah.
Oh, wow, you're trying to ditch us here. Here at the...
I totally do that for an extra French cast, you know? That might work, though, for next TAO, though, right? Obviously, we have an English cast, but there's so many French Canadians, right? That a French Canadian cast seems pretty worth it, in my opinion.
You are so proud of being French Canadian. But it's looking like the match is ready, and we're going to be getting there in around 10 seconds. Now, Quantum, hype us up. Tell us about how important this match is.
Oh, this match is extremely important. Listen, we've got ourselves the top 8 here, and They took a long time to get themselves into this match, and it could all come undone here. We have these 4 amazing players, Duggery, Wargle, Asmonero, and El Penshi, all ready to go. Into the match we head. And it's first to 120 points and not 140. So keep that in mind as we head into this one here. As Asmonero, as I said, came on from all the way down in quarterfinal lower bracket to get himself here. Could he get himself up into the grand consolidation final and even the grand final? El Penche leading the way. Vorgel is in second. Doggery is in third. And Asmonero in fourth. No one's crashed just yet except for Doggery, who's gone into the pole as El Penche keeps his lead. Vorgel in second. Asmonero in third. Asmonero overtakes Vorgel. El Penche still has a big lead as he heads onto the ice section now. Just 2 more turns to lead himself onto it. Vorgel re-overtakes Asmonero, who has to release to stay onto the track, and El Penche has a nice little lead. Will he ping-pong his way into the finisher? Will he make it clean? Will he go through the triangle or go for the safe? He goes for the safe. Gets himself first. Vorgel gets second, and a big crash out of Asmonero forces him to respawn. He'll be able to reset, but he'll lose 1 point in the process, and allowing Doggery to get himself 4 points. Oh, he won't even get 3 points. He falls off the ice. The DNF to start off for Asmonero.
Luckily, it is the first round. He has many rounds to make up for this, but it might be a bit shaky for him on ice. Hopefully that mistake does not happen again. Ice is brand new to this game, so a lot of the players who are older don't really know how to do it properly, as Vorgel is the first one to not make any major mistakes here, as Asmonero is trying to catch up from him right now, but it's looking like there is quite a considerable gap. Duggery is in third place right now, massively behind everyone else, as El Pent is in fourth. It's looking like a 1, 2, 3, 4 right now, as Vorgel has got a massive lead on the opponent right now. But it's all on is Asmonero is able to catch up to him. If he's able to mess up this ice again, he does have a good dirt line. He's looking like he is getting a bit more pace. But Vorgel is just so far ahead as they are coming near to the ice turn very, very soon. A few more turns and then they'll be there. There's going to be the factor to decide how it's going to go, as Vorgel on this grass right now is getting some good lines. The move is about to come up right now. Is Vorgel going to do it properly? This is the most important part. Vorgel seems to be having it correct as he is getting there, and it's looking like Asmonero is not going to make a mistake, getting second place with Duggery in third. And there seems to be one player missing, as El Pent does scoot in with 5 seconds left with 1 minute 14.
Yeah, that's 7 seconds behind for El Penche, and he finds himself a little bit behind. It's all fine and dandy, though, as Asmonero kind of wished he had that kind of a finish last round as well, but 2 slide outs for him and was unable to finish. So only 6 points to his name. Doggery in third right now with 8 points, and Vorgel with him 1 win and 1 second place to his name. Not too bad. It's the fight between Chile and Brazil here. Will there be one of each to go towards the consolidation final, or will both from one country make it? Right now, you can't really tell who is going to be where, and honestly, there is no favorite heading into this match here. Everyone is equally skilled, in my opinion, and anyone could make it through depending on how much they practice on these maps. Vorgel in the lead, El Penche in second, Duggery is in third, as Monero a second behind. He's made a mistake, but he's still in that fight if they make a mistake ahead, as El Penche and Vorgel. El Penche with a great line, goes wide afterwards though, will get less speed in the next turn, as Duggery will be able to catch up to El Penche. Vorgel has a bigger lead now, it's 2/10 over El Penche, more inside for Penche though, as Vorgel goes onto the ice. Who's it gonna be? Duggery makes a mistake, he'll fall down behind. Vorgel goes really high. El Penche does not have the speed to catch back up to Vorgel's immense speed. Duggery will get third despite his mistake, as Monero gets fourth right in behind, could not get the snipe.
El Penche was going like a bullet train halfway through that round. I was really expecting him to keep the lead, but it was looking like it just wasn't there for him. It was looking like Vorgel was just too far ahead, where El Penche just wasn't able to catch up far enough right now, as it is looking like Vorgel is trying to catch up to El Penche right now, as Duggery has got a big lead, which we haven't seen before. This player has been consistently third place so far. He really needs to push up. He needs to get to minimum second place to reach the grand finals So we'll have to see if he's able to do it. Vogel and El Pente are trying to catch up. It's looked like Vogel has made a mistake, but El Pente is coming like the bullet train, like we said before. Look at that speed he has. When he gets that consistent line that he knows how to do, the pace just comes out of nowhere. But Duggery doesn't want this to stay. He wants to try and fight for this first place. He needs to get points to try and catch up. Try and catch up with the first and second place, as El Pente is in first right now. Duggery isn't letting this happen. For a beautiful turn right there, allowing him to catch up. It's all on this grass. Is he able to do it? He touches grass slightly too much, allowing Vogel to catch up to him. Duggery needs to slow down a bit. It's looking like Duggery isn't able to do much. It's all on this ice slide. Is Vogel or El Pente going to make any mistakes? Duggery does the harder line, but he's just too far behind. Touching that grass was just too big of a mistake, leaving El Pente and Vogel with first and second.
Man, what a nice little round there. No one really made a big mistake. It was all down to the small mistakes, as Asmonero and Duggery did those on the last round of the first map. On to the second one we go, and the players can be pretty proud of themselves with what they did on that map, especially El Pente, who finds himself up into, I do believe, second place after that round win. Yes, he's at 29 points. Asmonero still in last place with 12. He would be at 15 had he finished the round, or he would be actually at 16 had he finished without making that first mistake. So, Duggery on 16, he's in third place. El Pente in second on 29. Vorgel on 32, 2 round wins and 2 second places to his name. He's been quite consistent, despite making some mistakes here and there. Let's see now what Love Dive brings to them.
It's the best sounding name, I would have to say, out of all of them. Love Dive, it just hits right for what it is like. But Vogel in the warm-up round does seem to understand this map a little bit better than others. Vogel is really showing up here with 32 points, with El Pente right on his tail with 29. But remember, this is only the second map right now. One map cannot show how good a player can really be. Some players may just enjoy one map but be really good on others, so we'll have to see if that is going to be the case, as we have about 15 seconds going into the next round.
Yeah, and beware of the triangle checkpoint, right? We're going to see some players who are going to safe it, and we're going to see some players who are really going to risk it. And Duggery seems like one of those players who's really going to risk it. As you said earlier, right, he seems to have touched a little bit too much grass. And so let's see if he can make up for that grass touching by being just better at the game. Duggery will start off well, and what do you want to say, sir?
Well, I was going to say, right, if he touches grass too much, that means he's gone outside. And if you go outside, you haven't played enough Trackmania to win this.
True.
So it really is a double negative there. But do you know what double negative is? It turns into a positive. So maybe his brain power is just so much bigger that Duggery is able to keep up, as Duggery is slightly further behind. El Pente and Vogel are slightly in front, but Duggery with touching grass, we'll have to see if this comes in anywhere, as El Pente and Vogel are still just so much further ahead than him. But there's a lot of the map to play for right now, as El Pente and Vogel are trying to fight against each other, as the fourth man is nowhere to be seen, as it's a 3-person race right now. Asmonero is just not able to get into this match so far. Hopefully he can do it soon, but Duggery has made a big enough mistake. But talking about mistakes, Vogel has a massive one, allowing Duggery get up to second place. This is what he needs. He needs other players to make big mistakes like that, sniping second place away, allowing him to get points onto Vogel.
Yeah, and Asmonero nearly getting Vorgel as well. That's how bad Vorgel hit there, as we see our 102. 102 is world record time. 102, I do believe, 0.4 SRK. Is that correct? I do believe it is a 102.4. So 0.5 away from WR, and we might see some times even closer than that. El Pente really good at being right up against that line, and let's see what he can do. As Monero makes a mistake, Vorgel will go up into third place now. Duggery finds himself currently in first with El Pente just behind, but let's see what he can pull off, because he's got a 2/10 difference to the player behind, and make that 6/10 now as El Pente makes a mistake. It's now Vorgel who is behind him, slightly slower as well, down to 3/4 of a second behind Duggery, as Duggery now in the big lead. All he needs to do now is safe it, as this is a section where they crash out a lot, and he's done exactly that. Forgel will take the lead, but it seems like Dagiri will keep himself in second place at least. So he'll get those 6 points, but Forgel will get the 10, and Dagiri really needed those 10 in his repertoire.
That is devastating for Duggery right there, making a big mistake there, allowing Vogel to keep ahead of him right now. If we quickly take a look at the points as they do go in, Vogel with 46, with Elpent with 42, and Duggery with 28. Duggery is still 14 points behind the top two. This is the place he needs to be, as he does make a mistake at the start, which he does not want to do. Vogel and Elpente, these two are challenging each other, but they just need to get top two to get to the grand finals, as Elpente does have a slight lead on Vogel. Vogel seems to be winning out against each other in the small battles they have been having at the front right now. It looks like Elpente is having a slight lead right now, but Vogel does not want this to stay. Both players seem to understand this map. They're pushing themselves as Vogel takes slightly too much grass against Elpente, as he takes an outside line right there, meaning that he will have more pace on the outskirts, but Elpente just too far ahead where the more speed does not even matter. Elpente has a massive lead. If he makes no big mistakes here, he will be taking first place, but there's much of this match to go. Is there anyone behind Vogel? It looks like Vogel is quite safe in his position right now in second place, as you do have as a Monero with about 0.5 behind him. As they come into the final corner, it's looking like Elpente is going to take first, Vogel in second, as a Monero in third, and Duggery in fourth.
Asmanero really needs a good round here. He is behind by so much. He finds himself on 23 points after 7 rounds. He's averaging 3.28 points per round, and so that is really rough for him over there. He's not having that much fun at the moment, and so he really needs a good round. As he starts off good, he's going to need to keep up with the good pace, but he'll fall back down to last place after a bad dirt turn. Dagiri goes a little bit too high on the grass, allows Elpente to grab the lead. Elpente goes wide, and so Vogel will come through, and then here comes Dagiri once again. So everyone's had a taste of the lead as a helicopter flies over my house. Hopefully you guys don't hear that too loudly. Vogel will take back the lead. Elpente right behind, as Monero and Dagiri are there as well. So it's a big fight for everyone all around except for Elpente, who's hit into the triangle checkpoint. And so right now, Vogel in the lead. Big time lead for himself, though. He's really built it up. Dagiri finds himself in second, as Monero needs either one to make a mistake, or both, preferably, but neither of them will do such mistake. And so it is Vogel, Dagiri, as Monero, and then Elpente will come through at some point. There he is.
Having a casual start at the end, he knew that he was not going to be getting anywhere higher than fourth place in that round. Now, Azamanero was able to keep up with the pack, which is what we'd like to see. It looks like Azamanero could be making a bit of a comeback here, maybe getting a second or first, but we are going on to another map. We'll have to see if any player fancies their chances of getting a few first places here, maybe getting a lot of the 10 pointers, as we are going on to the map of Momentum.
Yeah, Momentum by Deska. So this map is all about, well, its namesake, right? It's all about its momentum. You got to find yourself in the right place at the right time. Make sure that you don't clip on any of these ledges. You got to make sure that you do all these transitional jumps just correctly and bring enough speed to go over all of the speed checks. So if you don't have enough momentum, as the name suggests, you will not be able to do the map properly. So this map is all make or break, and you got to make sure that your speedometer is not broken whatsoever.
We'll really have to see if any player fancies this map more than the others. I did say that Elpente before did look like a bullet train, but we'll have to see if he does have that on this map here. This is mostly tech plus dirt, so we'll have to see if any player prefers these styles of maps over any others, as we do have about 5 seconds to start before we get into the round.
Let's see it as we head down to the track for Round number 1 of the third map, round number 9 in total so far. The points 62 for Vorgel, 55 for El Penche. Dogary is on 37 and Asmonero still slow off the line, 27 points to his name. El Penche starts off slow with himself. He's got no momentum, finds himself down, unable to do the speed check. As Monero and Dagiri, the only two who have been able to do the speed checks just perfectly fine so far. And as Monero having a 0.3 of a second lead over Dagiri. Dagiri, though, trying to catch up and does so as Monero turns a little bit too harshly on this dirt. As Monero loses a lot of speed. Dagiri catching up, takes the lead. Will relinquish himself a little bit too much as his drift is not ideal. Goes more inside. Will lose more speed over more time. And is still in that fight. There is still 2 corners left to be played here. And Dagiri will take the lead after Asmonero needs to release. And now one last speed check. He'll get that perfectly fine as Monero gets second. Finally a second place for the Brazilian. But the Chilean will bring himself first place, and 10 points for Dagiri brings him closer to El Penche and Vorgel. And Asmonero, I mean, he still gets more points than the top 2, which is still important, but he needed that 10.
Talking about momentum, it seems to be shifting away from El Pente and Vogel. Both of these players made big mistakes to start around Orlando. Bottom 2 from getting points on them. Look right now, Dogiri and Azumanero seem like they are feeling themselves a bit more, as they did have a very strong round in the last one, having the top 2 players making big mistakes. But Vogel, he has been one of the strongest players coming into these rounds right now, so we'll have to see if he's able to do anything here. But take a look, the bottom 2, they're now the top 2. They're trying their best, but Vogel isn't keeping this for long. He relinquishes that away, getting first place right now, as Dogiri and Azumanero are on his tail. They are hunting him as Azumanero out of nowhere gets so much speed. It looks like this map is the map for him right now. It's looking like he could be making a comeback here. Same with Dogiri. Both of these players fighting each other for this first place, as Vogel is right in between them. He's trying to say, no, we are the top 2. You two are going to come nowhere near us, as Azumanero takes a slightly outside the line, as Vogel makes a massive mistake, making Dogiri and Azumanero win the round again, with Dogiri in first place and Azumanero in second. El Pente, who we haven't talked about all round, getting third.
Yeah, El Penche finds himself all the way down in third. A small mistake again on his part here, and he's not going to be able to catch up much to Vorgel. Only 1 point will now be gained on his end, and well, Dogiri's back into the match, right? He was down 100%. By over 30 points, and now he's only down by 11. And as Monero himself, I mean, he's down 18 points on Dagiri, but Dagiri finds himself all the way down in last place. And so if Asmonero can take advantage of some mishaps out of the other players, but he's the one with the mishap, he's the one who hits into the wall, so El Penche and Vorgel can continue as necessary, as El Penche finds himself into the wall, and everyone's eating a little bit too much and gaining too much weight, slowing them down way more than they'd want to. And Vorgel, I mean, he could just eat some chips, you know, just eat pizza, drink a unbranded Coca-Cola beverage, and I mean, just finds himself in first place with no one to face him off, and he doesn't even need to go for this risky finish. Will do so anyway. Gets himself first place. El Penche gets second. Asmonero still gets third, which is still good for him over Dagiri. That 1 point might make the difference in the latter stages.
Now it's looking like it's shifting again. It's looking like this is a puzzle box where you have to keep moving stuff in and out, as we do have Vogel and El Pente coming first and second in the round just there. But we'll have to see if Azumanero and Dogiri are going to be able to do something here. Azumanero is looking a lot strong in these rounds. This is what we like to see. We like to see competitive rounds coming from all the players, and right now you can see all 4 are warmed up, as Azumanero makes a small mistake there, leaving Dogiri to be fighting against the top 2 right now. El Pente does have a bigger lead, but Dogiri does have a better line, so we'll have to see if he does anything. Vogel is on his tail as well. All 3 of these players want to get to this final. All 3 players are so close in the points, so we'll have to see. Every round does matter to these players, as El Pente is getting in first, having a small lead on the other two, but Vogel is catching up. Same with Duggery. Alpente makes a small mistake there. We'll have to see if that matters. He's still in front of Duggery, but behind Vogel. Vogel, is he going to take it as they're coming and nearing to the end right now? Duggery does make a small mistake, but not enough to lose too much speed. He is still in the running, but into the end, Duggery just misses it, leaving Alpente in first, Vogel in second, Azumanero to snipe that third place. This is really good for the side of Alpente and Vogel for going into the finalist mode.
Yeah, exactly. As we head nearest that, and right now it was really good for Alpencha as well because he overtook Vorgel in that final turn. Now they're 5 points separating them once again, and they push away the threat that is Dagiri. Though Dagiri is relatively close enough that one good map will really solidify him in this fight. He got 26 points in the last 4 rounds. Could he get another similar haul of points on this 4th map known as Timberhead by Agrabu and Shrimp?
I think I'll leave the complicated names to you. I feel like speaking 2 languages gives you an unfair advantage, and not being British, because we already can't speak.
Shrimp is not a hard word to say. What are you talking about?
No, I'm not talking about shrimp. Shrimp is fine. Well.
Shrimp Lad is a good friend of mine. He is very, very nice. And, well, Timberhead finds itself on, a Canadian sort of name, doesn't it? Because timber being a tree lumber sort of word, and Timberhead being the other side of the axe, if I do believe, right? You got the axe part of the axe, right? And then you've got the blunt part of the axe. I do believe that's a Timberhead, if I recall correctly.
So this is a blunt part of an axe. This is what this map is trying to represent.
I do believe so. Someone can tell me otherwise, but I do believe that's what a Timberhead is.
Well, we'll have to see if this somehow comes into play. Maybe these players are thinking about that as we are getting into our first round. So we have Vogel with 84 points, Alpente with 79, Duggery on 63, and Azumanero on 47. Duggery and Azumanero were able to catch up a little bit in the last map. We were able to see them really pushing themselves and coming out to be some of the stronger players, but we'll have to see if it does come to these rounds here, as Duggery does have a lead for himself. This is really showing that he has been slowly growing through these rounds. Other players like Carl Jr. are just like this. They may not be the strongest at first, but when they start feeling themselves, they really feel themselves and get a big lead. But it's looking like it isn't lasted long. It's looking like this is no Carl Jr. as Alpente does take him over. Alpente does have a small lead on the others, as we have Azumanero in second. He's been doing and making waves since the start, as Vogel is in third. Vogel is in first place overall, but he's in third right now as Azumanero makes a big mistake. Vogel swipes 1, then swipes 2, getting himself all the way to second place from last. Now there's only one more. Alpente, does he make a big mistake? It looks like it's a smooth ending. I mean, Alpente will finish with 55.1.
55.1, very, very nice time by Alpente. Vogel in second continues the status quo, as now they're only separated by 1 point, and Dagiri finds himself farther and farther down the order once again, as Monero slightly catches up on the Chilean, but the Chilean finding himself way down on Alpente and Vogel. That fight now, 30 points and 31 points separate Vogel and Alpente from finalist mode, so we are at least still 1 map away. By the way, a Timberhead is what is on the docks to rope down boats.
Oh, okay, that makes a lot more sense, because there's water on this map.
Right. So it is those things on docks that you can wrap rope around and then bring in boats. So that's pretty cool if for that reason. The blunt end of the axe is called something else. Anyway, as Monero in the lead here, it looks like he'll take his first win if nothing goes wrong. Vogel is in second, and as Monero really needs this win. He needs it really bad. As he goes wide, he'll get more speed out of the exit. He'll get some airtime, and that's beautifully fine and beautifully perfect. A 55-1 for his name as well. Vogel in second, Dagiri in third, and Alpente gets fourth. Good for Vogel, bad for Alpente. Now, 4 points separate both of them, and if Alpente gets first and Vogel gets second, in this next round, we'll be tied on points.
55.1 is a hell of a time to come out from Azumanero. He was the player that we weren't sure if he was able to keep up with the pack, but he is proving that he can. Look at this player. The first couple maps, he may have not been feeling himself, but he definitely is feeling himself right now. He's in first place, beating out El Pente and Vorgul, who have been two of the most consistent and strongest players so far in the tournament. As we still have Azumanero in the front right now, El Pente, he is trying to catch up. Same with Vorgul. Both of these players do understand how to do maps. They know how to do their lines, as El Pente is trying to fight for him right now, as Duggery does seem to be hunting a little bit, but he just goes slightly too wide. It's looking like he will be slightly out of the running, as Azumanero does get taken over by El Penche. He's in second place now. Vorgul, he's been hunting. He's been slowly in the back, creeping his way up, and he's looking to take over Azumanero. Does he take the better line? It does look like it, and he will take over Azumanero. El Penche in first, Vorgul in second, and Azumanero in third. All of these three players taking a little by little from each other, pushing each other further and further.
Man, did I bring this into existence? El Penche gets first, Vorgul gets second. Guess what? We're tied on points. 1-2. And this is going to be the final round on Timberhead here. And look at this, right? Dagiri is 29 points behind El Penche and Vorgul, who are tied for the lead. Azumanero finds himself even further behind, 37 points from the leaders. And so he's going to need something special here. He's going to need a round win at minimum. And if he gets himself a round win, Dagiri also needs himself a round win to get even closer. And it looks like this might be the case, because El Penche's made a mistake and Vorgul has made a small, tiny mistake, finding himself 4/10 behind Dagiri and Azumanero, who are fighting for this lead. They are fighting like dogs out there, as Vorgul trying to get into this fight, trying to get himself that 10-pointer, maybe even 6 points. It'll be better than the 4 points he's currently suited to get, as Azumanero slows down a bit, but it's not going to be enough. Dagiri gets 10, Azumanero gets 6, Vorgul gets 4, El Penche gets 3, and Vorgul and El Penche separated by 1 point, and a minimum of 2 more rounds required for either of them to get Finalist Mode, and it is indeed possible that both get Finalist Mode within 2 rounds' time at the exact same time.
We'll have to see if that will happen. We would love to see it. Vorgul and El Penche, they do have a slight lead on the other two, but Duggery and Azumanero, they have been fighting so hard. They may not have had a best start. We did see El Penche and Vorgul doing so strong on the starting maps. We'll have to see if they're able to do this again. But Azumanero and Duggery, they have been fighting, clawing their way up the mountain, trying to get as many points back as possible in the later rounds. So we'll have to see if they're able to do anything on the starting maps.
Well, this is the last map in the rotation. It is DMN 8 by Manix. So, as you said, Manix created this map earlier on in the last round. Manix, who will find in the grand finals. However, the winners of this one, right? When we see finalists and then the winners of this match, they'll go into the Consolidation Finals and find the losers of the winner bracket finals, and at which point then we will go afterwards to the grand finals. So, Vorgul and El Penche, 14, 15 points respectively out of Finalist Mode. And then Dagiri finds himself 37 points away from Finalist Mode. Azumanero, 49. However, if Azumanero were to somehow miraculously win 4 rounds in a row on this map, we'd have quite the match on our hands. I do believe the top 2 players would still be in Finalist Mode by the end of it. However, there would be a lot of momentum off of them and on Azumanero.
And it is looking like Azumanero does have momentum right now, as he is keeping up with the top 2. But El Penche and Vorgul seem to understand this map a lot faster than the other 2. They may have had slightly more practice, as Duggery does make a mistake, just before the others, so he's going to be out of the running, and it's all between El Pente and Duggery. But Azamanero, look at this player. El Pente smashes the wall. That's going to be a big crash coming out from him, leaving Vorgo and Azamanero. Azamanero has been fighting so hard to get his boy into the game. It seems like he didn't wake up to the second match, but afterwards he's been fighting tooth and nail with the rest of these players. But Vorgo, we've seen the consistency, but he has been consistently hitting these walls from time to time, allowing Azamanero to take the lead, getting first place, with Vorgo in second with a 57.5. Now the other two were far behind, so we'll have to see if they're able to finish. Duggery is quite far behind. El Pente does finish, and Duggery does finish as well.
Isn't it incredible that 2 times in a row now I've brought into existence a win?
Okay. You know what? Give me some spice. I want for Finalist Mode. Can you bring this into existence for me?
All right. So we have a chance here for Vorgel if he wins this round to get himself in Finalist Mode. Though if El Pence wins, he will block Vorgel from getting that Finalist Mode, but he himself will be 1 point away from it as well. And so let's see it here as El Pence is in the lead and Vorgel is fighting with Dagiri for this round win here. As Dagiri makes a small mistake, he'll fall behind Azamanero, who's currently in third. Vorgel and El Pence now fight 1 and 2 as El Pence has that lead, but Vorgel is just in behind. Less than a tenth of a second separate both of them. And now up into the hill we go, into the turn, when we then go onto the engine off block, and it's more speed for El Pence on the engine off, which means he's got more speed. Vorgel won't be able to catch up. El Pence blocks Vorgel from getting finalists, and he himself is 1 point away, which means he's just 1 finish away from getting it. Vorgel is 2 points away from finalists, which means he's 1 finish away as well. Dagiri and Azamanero are over 4 wins away from Finalist Mode themselves. It's all between El Pence and Vorgel.
Duggery made a massive mistake there. It's even like the nerves are definitely getting to him as he does make another mistake at the start. Azamanero has been showing up, but these two players, we've been talking about how they can maybe make a comeback, but they have been getting moved to the side by Vorgel and El Pence. These two players, they may have made a few mistakes here or there, maybe allowed Duggery and Azamanero too close to what they want, but El Pence and Vorgel have definitely been the 2 best players so far right now, as they are still fighting for first place right now. If both players finish this, they will both be in Finalist Mode. They'll need to win 1 more after that to get to the grand finals. El Pence versus Vorgel. Who's going to take this round? This round's more of a friendly fight against each other, but they want to make sure that Azamanero and Duggery come nowhere near both of them, El Pence and Vorgel, with 2 good lines here. Vorgel has got more pace, but El Pence so far ahead, as it looks like El Pence is going to finish with a 56.9 with Azamanero in third, and Duggery, if we can find the poor player, is going to finish just on time. It's looking like it just isn't Duggery's map.
Good luck should be written in chat, ladies and gentlemen, because both players are Finalist Mode, and it's so good for both of them that they got a 1-2, because they blocked Dagiri and Azamanero from catching up as much as possible, right? Now Dagiri is 3 wins behind, and Azamanero needs 4 wins just to get into Finalist Mode, right? So they have a 1 whole map advantage, right? That's 4 whole maps that these guys have as a buffer to Dagiri and Azamanero, which means they have a good chance of being 1 and 2. No matter what the order is, they'll both be in the Consolidation Finals, as El Pence right now in the lead. Dagiri is in second. El Pence could make it through right here, right now. This round on this map, Dieminate by Mannix could be his saving grace, as Vorgel is in third. Azamanero is in fourth. Dagiri right now, the only one who can block both of these players' Finalist Modes, but El Pence in the lead. He's in. He wants to win this. He'll get himself into the Consolidation Finals with a 56-7 GG's to him. And now we know the 5th player to make it into the continuation of this tournament. Who will be the 6th player? Dagiri and Azamanero are still more than 2 rounds away from making it. At this point in time, either of them would need to win 4 rounds in a row to beat out Vorgel Vorgel now having such a massive opportunity on his hands here to win this one out.
But remember, we have seen a lot more crazy things happen. We've seen many more, like, we've even seen 6 rounds behind and winning it from there. So Vorgel is not in order clear right now. But remember, he was good on this map. This was one of his stronger suits, so we'll have to see if he will be able to bring it out here. Nerves are definitely hitting him. He is so close to the finishing line, but he has to warm up. He has to get ready for the next round. Quantum, are you ready to see if Vorgel's going to do it?
I am ready. Is everyone else ready? I hope so, because now we're back on Harmonic by Wizzy, where it all started on this matchup here. And if you remember correctly, it was all Vorgel at the start. 2-round wins and 2 second places to El Penche. And guess what? El Penche's not here anymore. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Vorgel will need to be taken off of the scoreboard, off the top step of the podium 4 rounds in a row, just for these other 2 players to stay alive. Can they do it? Will they do it? Into what could possibly be the last round, the last map of this match here. We could be saying goodbye to Dagiri and to Asmonero here, as Vorgel goes wide, and he's made a massive mistake. Dagiri, oh, he's made a mistake of his own. Everyone's made a mistake. And so despite that, everyone's within a second of each other. Dagiri hits into the wall again, falls down to second place. And now Asmonero, it's all on his hands. Despite all these big mistakes having been done, he gets a big slowdown. He himself has made another mistake, and another one could cause Vorgel to win despite his massive hit into the wall. This could be a massive Pepega round, ladies and gentlemen, as we head onto the second half of this map here, into the last few turns before the ice section, as Monero needs to keep it together. He can't pull off what he did in the first round of this matchup, where he DNF'd. As Monero needs to get this ice together perfectly as he heads onto it now. One last turn. Vorgel needs to be kept at bay, and as Monero, will he do it? He will! He gets a clip, but he still gets an aerial shot into the finish and stops Vorgel just this one round. Everyone making big mistakes and not big enough for Vorgel here to overtake them, luckily. And now, as Monero ties up with Doggery, 102 for both of them. Points away from Finalist Mode, which still means 3 rounds minimum for a secondary finalist to come in. But as Monero, Doggery already out of this one.
Yes, he's out of it right now. Monero as well, slightly behind. Monero has been making massive rounds. He's been really getting back into this, but this is Vorgel's map. This is his bread and butter. He didn't make a big mistake at the start. He's in first place with a commanding lead, and we know that Vorgel is super strong on this map. If he just has a clean run, nobody will be able to overtake him. But Monero, he's been pushing himself so hard. He's been coming so far as he just clips the edge right now. So it's all Vorgel. If Vorgel makes no mistake here, he will be into the grand finals. Him and El Pente, they have been together through this whole entire round so far. They've been fighting tooth and nail for first and second. El Pente is able to take first, but Vorgel, he doesn't want to get left behind. He already knows what losing is, and he does not want to lose again. He comes into the ice slide. So many people make mistakes here. Is he going to be able to get himself to the grand finals? Is he going to make any mistake? And it's looking like it's going to be a clean ending, with Vorgel going to be our 6th member in the grand finals.
Yes, very nicely done there by Vorgel. Staves off of the elimination on Dagiri and Asmonero's part. Asmonero and Dagiri have been eliminated, ladies and gentlemen. And now, one of each, one Brazilian and one Chilean, find themselves now in the Consolidation Finals, up against our bottom 2 from the upper bracket final, that being Radiaxo and Charles. So, in this Consolidation Final, we have 2 Brazilians, a Colombian, and we have ourselves a Chilean.
This is what we like to see. We love having so many different countries from all over the place coming together and making some good Trackmania happen. This shows that there isn't one country that has the best players. All of these players are from different countries and have worked so hard to get here.
Yeah, they've worked very, very hard, and it shows because It's everything, right? Asmonero started off so poorly in this tournament, and he made quite the comeback here, right? From lower bracket quarterfinals, making it all the way to day number 2 despite that fact. But you know who else found himself there? It was Dagiri. Dagiri also found himself in that same match up against Asmonero, and he made it through with Asmonero in that lower bracket quarterfinals match. They were in the same server, and then they both continued on all the way to day number 2 in the lower bracket finals. Sadly, both are now gone. El Penche, Vorgel, Charles, and Radiaxo will be the next matchup here, and it'll be played in 15 to 20 minutes time.
Yes, I am so hyped to see it. But we will be going on a small break for a little bit. We'll be back very, very soon. We'll be around 5 or 10 minutes. But remember, you do not want to miss it. All of these players have worked so hard and they have come so far, as we have the consolidation. Is that how you say it?
Consolidation.
Okay. Consolidation. There we go, there we go. Being a British man who can't even speak his own language. But we have that to come. And we also have the grand finals. We'll have to see who's going to win it all.
Hello everyone, how are you all doing? Welcome back. This time we are in top 6 for places 6 to 3. Now, in the Consolidation Finals here, one more match afterwards, which will be the Grand Finals, which will have the final 4 players. But to get to the final 4, we first need to get through this final 6. Mr. Zapdos, how are you doing?
I am doing wonderful. It's a pleasure to be with you. Now, we only have about 40 seconds to start before this, this beautiful game. All of these players have worked so hard to be here, and I am so hyped to see them, but I am ready for the finals. I may have not seen the first day, but the second day has performed. We have seen some incredible times coming out from these players, but we'll have to see if there's going to be maybe, okay, hear me out, some PBs. Okay, that might not sound too scary. Now let's go again. A world record, maybe? Who knows? Oh, Jesus. I know, it's scary. But we only have about 10 seconds till we're about to start. Now, Quantum, you know how to hype us up. That's one thing that, I aspire to be as hype as you. So we're going to really give it over to you to really start us off.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Top 6 Consolidation Finals. Here we go. Radiaxo, Charles, Vorgel, and El Peche fighting to be in the Grand Finals. Top 2 will be there. Top 2 in this match will make it to the Grand Finals. Bottom 2 out. Amigos. And here we go for round number 1 of what could possibly be many to come here. First to 140 points. And so, after that, we'll have Finalist Mode, and after Finalist Mode, we will see who will win the match. Right now, it's Charles and Radiaxo fighting for the lead of this round in particular. El Penche fighting himself in 3rd place at the moment. Though Charles right now and Radiaxo fighting for the lead. Radiaxo behind by a 1/4 of a second. However, the ice can really kill Charles's run here as Radiaxo touches too much grass. He goes way outside for a long period of time as Charles now loses a little bit of speed himself, goes outside to go inside. Ski finish, and he'll complete it through a 106, mid 106 for both of them. What a start to the match.
That is the hype I'm talking about, Quantum. Now, this is the reason I'm not able to beat you. But it's looking like nobody's able to beat Charles in the first round, as he does take the 10 points home. But remember, they do need to get to 140 points to get through to Finalist Mode. As Radiaxo does make a small slip up at the side. It's okay, it's only one of the first rounds. He has plenty to come back. But Charles, he is really proven himself. He wants to get first place here, as he is in the lead right now, as El Pente does make a mistake, allowing Vorgel to take him over. In the last match, Vorgel and El Pente, they were fighting against each other, but they didn't have Charles against them. And you can really see how they may look strong in one round, but in another, there could be a player that comes in and just absolutely decimates. It's looking like that player will be Charles right now. We'll have to see if it's just the map or if it's going to be all of the rounds so far. Charles has a big lead as Vorgel and El Pente. They just can't stay away from each other. These two players are consistently fighting against each other, going head to head, and it's looking like Vorgel is slightly winning out on this, as El Pente did come out as first, but they ended up in the same bracket, so it did not matter. As they come into the final part, this is the ice, the part where most people make their mistakes. We do see Charles makes a consistent line with Vorgel in 2nd, El Pente in 3rd, with our 4th player zooming through with Radiaxo.
You say consistent line. He actually slid out for a second there and slowed down tremendously, and that actually did help. Yeah, a win's a win. It helped to go through for the risky finish. However, that was very scary. He could have easily slid out and lost that win there, and luckily for him, it did not happen. So we go on ahead once more as Charles in the lead. I mean, we saw a lot of that today, right? Charles speaking to the lead and then getting it stolen away from those around him, ending up in 4th place. But now, this Charles here finding himself in the Consolidation Finals. Radiaxo behind him, El Penche and Vorgel. I mean, everyone is relatively close together, and I would assume a much closer match than those that we've seen so far today, as we see Radiaxo in a fight with Charles here, for first place, and into the final checkpoint will second to last checkpoint will go here as Radiaxo makes a massive mistake, goes way too wide and falls down to last place. Charles will have a beautiful line for himself all alone as he's onto the ice. Will he make a mistake? Will he slide out? No, he won't. No ping pongs to be had either. It's only Radiaxo with the ping pongs as Alpenche gets second, Vorgel gets third. And now that's the end of round number 3. And after 3 rounds time, Charles, 3 round wins in a row.
One thing I want to talk about though is Charles' main competition. It may not seem as Radiaxo has been keeping up with him the most. It's looking like when the players have been together, they've been able to push each other to go faster and faster. So we can even see here, Radiaxo may be in last place right now with only 12 points, but he's in second place right now. We keep seeing Charles and Radiaxo being first and second, but Radiaxo has been made too many mistakes as Charles really learns from his partner in crime as he makes a big mistake there. As the partner of Vorgel and Alpente, who came in together, are hunting down Radiaxo. Radiaxo does need 10 points here. He does have a small advantage on them right now, but he needs these points badly, so he needs to keep this up right now. A good dirt line is making it seem very viable for him, as he does have about a 0.3 second lead on Alpente, and it's gone down to 0.25. Is he going to be able to keep up as Radiaxo is going to make another mistake, but he makes a great turn there, allowing him to get in first place right now. But Vorgel out of nowhere steals Alpente second place. He's saying, no, I want this second place as they come into the ice line. Many people can make mistakes here. It's looking like Vorgel is going for an outer side line, which is a massive mistake, allowing Alpente to take over.
Very well done from Radiaxo to win that round. He definitely needs that, not just for the his points, but for the morale as well. Gets out of last, gets into second as we head onto the second map. Charles actually getting last as well, which is massive for the other players as they get to catch up just a little bit on the points leader.
Yes, it is very exciting to see. One thing I do have to talk about is all of these players seem to be very, very close to each other.
Oh man, they are so close. This is one of the closest matches that we'll see for sure. Right now, we have 4 points separating second, third, and fourth. And, I mean, only 11 points lead for Charles there. That's nothing.
Also, on top of this, the consistency from these players is coming out a lot more now than it did at the start. They did have some nerves at the start. They weren't really feeling themselves and getting into the rhythm. But right now, you can definitely tell that these players are getting into the rhythm. As we are onto my favorite map, Love Dive. I love the different turns and slides you are able to do on this map, and taking advantage of some of the new blocks with having new checkpoints that aren't just the usual ring ones.
How can you not like Love Dive? You know, it's a hard map. It's got some choke points, but it's got some very, very nice scenery, and it looks like it has a really intuitive line as well, right? Of course, there's a lot of choke points through the checkpoints, as well as we have that triangle checkpoint that you got to go through to be as fast as possible, as all the players will go and do for this one. I mean, it's really interesting to see all the different lines that you can do, and it's just nice to see maps like this still being built at this time of Trackmania.
I would completely agree with you there. But now we need to stop talking about the map and we need to talk about the players as they get into the first round of this map. Right now we have Charles with 33 points, Radiaxo, who has caught up, being second now of 22, Alpente on 19, and Vorgel on 18. Radiaxo has made a massive lead for himself right now as Charles is trying to catch up to him. Alpente is still in the run-ins as there is a big mistake coming out, allowing Alpente to get this second place right now. Radiaxo, he is known for being good on these dirt lines, so we'll have to see if there's any mistakes. No, it's looking like clean sailing for him. It's looking like Radiaxo, he has been making a big comeback from the start, as Alpente makes a massive mistake as well, allowing Vorgel to catch up and hunt for this second place. This is what Vorgel is good at. He may not always be in first place, but he is usually consistent compared to the others. As I talk about this, the caster curse has come in and he has made a mistake there, but there are people on this tower. We'll have to see if anyone is able to take over from him. But Radiaxo, he is so far in the lead right now. If he doesn't make any mistakes, he will be getting first, as he does. Again, a 103, having Vorgel 2 seconds behind him, Alpente in third, and the fourth place with Charles.
See, you can't cast or curse like that, right? You're ruining their runs, you're ruining their points and their
I'm
positioning, right? El Penche really needs a win right now, right? Of course, he's down in last place. He's got 23 points, though a win would put him up right around where Radiaxo is, especially if Radiaxo finds himself down into last place. So El Penche could really use a win right here, right now, as he's in the lead at the moment. Radiaxo and Charles, though, inside of each other, it's only one car length that separates all three of these players, and Vorgel just in behind by a third of a second. Make that even a quarter of a second as he's starting to catch up on the players. Charles and Radiaxo 1 and 2. El Penche makes a small mistake, had to release just a little bit, but he's only behind by a quarter of a second as Charles now in the lead after Radiaxo didn't go for the risky checkpoint. It seems like it's gained Charles a little bit of momentum here as Charles will get himself the lead, gets himself really nice little comfy lead here with Radiaxo just in behind. He needs this win, Radiaxo, to catch up to Charles. And oh, look at that! Look at that! The reverse caster curse comes in. El Pente wins. See, that's how you do it. That's how you do it.
Quantum, you've been casting for a little bit longer than me, so maybe you just have more control over the caster curse. Maybe you're able to bend and warp it in the ways you want to make it more exciting for the people. But hopefully I can learn it. It is the experience.
Yeah. This is what I get paid for. $0, by the way.
Yeah. That's why I don't care enough to caster curse people, as I get paid £0, by the way. Sorry, I just had to do the English version of it. We could also change that to any currency you like. But these players will be getting paid for getting it this far. Is it top 6 that get paid, or is it top 4?
It is top 6, I do believe, correct?
Then all of these players should be getting paid, as Charles is in the lead right now, as he is in the lead with the most points as well. But El Pente, he did make a massive comeback in the last round, getting those 10 points, but we'll have to see if it can happen again. Is Charles going to make a big enough mistake, allowing El Pente to catch up? El Pente does have a good line though. He may even just catch up with just having better driving skills than his opponent. He does have a lot to do when there aren't that many turns left onto the map right now. They're coming to the ending right now, and Charles just has a good ending with a 103.0, giving him first place. El Pente with second, and Radiaxo with third.
Yeah, we've gotten all the skill, right? And all these players here, hey, listen, right? They get paid at the end of the day, and there's a lot of payment on the line here, especially the higher up you are positioned, right? That's why these players are fighting to be in the grand finals, because yeah, 6th place is nice, some money in the pocket is never bad whatsoever, but you want more of it, right? You're a greedy, right? We're greedy, we're humans. We love being greedy, right? Except for us casters, right? We don't even get a single Venezuelan bolivar to our pockets here. And as we all know, that inflation is so bad that a single bolivar is like a portion of a portion of a portion of a portion of a shilling.
And that's pushing it. That's pushing on a good day. Because but do you know someone who is having a good day, or well, at least a good map, is El Pente. He is in first place right now with a 0.3 lead on Radiaxo, and Charles being 0.5 behind him right now. Look at this player. This player is loving this map, as everybody else is making so many more mistakes than himself. He has got his way from last place to third place right now, and he is hunting. But it looks like I just caster cursed him, as I do not know my own power. As we do see El Pente coming in as third place, and he is just sitting there wondering how he made such a big mistake.
No, you did it wrong, man. You stopped him from even getting a really good time. That was going to be a solid 102.8, maybe a 102.7 even. Man, how could you do that to poor El Penche? He's going to be kicking himself, and he's maybe not even going to realize why that happened, right? Well, he will be kicking you once he goes back into the VOD, right?
Well, if everybody couldn't tell him, that would definitely be beneficial. In the next minute, no one tell him what I have done, because I want to be able to try and stay safe. Charles, Radiaxo, El Pente, and Vorgel have been doing really well in all of these rounds so far. Yeah. All of them have been super close. From top to bottom, there's only around a 23-point difference.
You can do math now. Sick. As yeah, there's a very nice spread between all the players, right? Charles and Radiaxo separated by 4, and then Radiaxo and El Penche separated by 9, and then El Penche and Vorgel separated by 10. And so it makes a really nice gap here for everyone, which means if, let's say, El Penche has a really good map here, then he will be the one that will really benefit from it, and he might even get the lead. Vorgel, though, this was his map, if you recall correctly, right? He was really good on this map in particular, as we'll get to see if he'll be good on it again.
We will have to see that. And do you want me to tell you why I've got better at maths?
Why? What would you do? Did you go to university finally?
No. My university does not help with that. It helps me draw nice and be able to 3D model well. No,
Ooh.
it is because I've been playing a bit of D&D. I have to calculate the huge damage that my player is going to be dealing. So quick maths is easy for me now. Please don't ask me any hard questions. I will not be able to answer them on English. But go and do this. Somebody who is having trouble as well right now is El Penche. Before we were talking about how strong he was as a player and how he was really catching up, but it's looking like this is not his round. But whose round it could be? It's Charles, Radiaxo or Vorgel as they are fighting. Vorgel does make a small mistake, allowing Charles and Radiaxo to be fighting for this first place right now. Charles does have a slight lead. Radiaxo takes a slightly outside line, and it's just looking like Charles just understands this map slightly better. But does anyone really understand Plastic? I 100% know that I don't, but it's looking like Charles does, as he is getting caught up on slightly by Radiaxo, but nothing big is coming from this. There's a couple more turns left. We're going to have to see something big, as this is the checkpoint to see if you have enough speed, and Charles and Radiaxo do, getting first and second, with El Penche in third.
Yeah, Radiaxo really needed that fighting himself. Now, with an 8-point gap to Charles, but he's extending his lead to El Penche, which is really good for him, and overall good as well for Charles, because now that's like a little barricade to build between himself and the others behind. Now, when it comes to El Penche and Vorgel, I mean, they really need to step it up here, right? Vorgel was really consistent in the loser bracket finals, and now he finds himself with not that much of it here. Where's that consistency gone, you think? Where he didn't crash all too often earlier on, but now with the pressure on, he's pushing a little bit harder, and he's risking too much and gaining too little.
The thing I'm trying to understand is Radiaxo and Charles seem to have had a harder warm-up round for this. The round they had before this, they just were going against stronger players, as Charles does make a small mistake there. This could come into account, because if you're against stronger opponents, you will have to push harder, and you will have to try your best to try and catch up. And because of that, now they're able to slightly go faster than the rest of them. So El Penche and Vorgel are having struggles trying to keep up.
Yeah, El Penche and Vorgel are trying very hard to keep up, right? And, ooh, that's big for Charles. He gets a DNF, which means he's now fallen below Radiaxo, and now in the clutches of El Penche as Vorgel. He's at 40 points. He still has a comeback in his repertoire to make here. I'm sure that it is possible for him to make one, but it's going to take quite a little bit of time, down by 28 points on the points leader, and down on 26 points from the second place he needs, as right now he's not even in the fight for the lead, as Charles is in there and El Penche is in second. Radiaxo finds himself in third, as El Penche will take the lead away from Charles. Small mistake out of him, but he's still in second place, 6 points to his name. Would not be bad, but Radiaxo wants to take it away, and in fact everyone wants to take it away, as Radiaxo has a better line through the section, through the plastic, and he goes wider onto the dirt as well. Look at this, he'll have more speed than El Penche as well, as El Penche goes wide, he's getting less speed than Radiaxo. Radiaxo has stolen the round from El Penche. El Penche will lose the round, gets second place. Vorgel gets third, and Charles gets fourth. And now Radiaxo and Charles, that lead for Radiaxo extends by 9 points.
Vorgel was showing up in the rounds beforehand, but it's looked like Vorgel is just not able to keep up with the players right now. It's looking like he's just not feeling like he's the same player that we saw before. And Quantum, quick thing, I feel like we're really learning how Trackmania works. So I feel like Carsten's really taught us how much speed each player is going to get, don't you think?
Yeah, I do agree.
It's like last time, you're just like, instantly, no, he's going to have more speed. I was there like 100% so. Showing that even casters can learn how to play the game here, as all these players definitely know how to play the game, as Charles is in first place. El Pente is fighting with Ready Axel to get this second place. Ready Axel did make a small mistake, allowing El Pente to catch up, but his small mistakes have just been showing up, as all three players are making massive mistakes, allowing Ready Axel to get first place right now, with El Pente and Vorgo right on his tail, right on his heels, trying to fight for this, but they're just so far behind. They may not have enough speed. It's looking like all three players just barely have enough to get there, with Ready Axel in first, El Pente in second, Vorgo in third, and Charles in fourth. A super close round.
Yeah, it's a super close round. I'm sure that Ready Axel was really surprised that he finished with a 59 and still won the round, considering 58 was what won every other round. So Ready Axel will have the same smile that his car has, as we head on to the next map here. Do you have car skins on by any chance?
Oh, I wanted to talk about Ready Axel's car skin.
Oh, go ahead. Let's talk about it. We got 1 minute. Let's talk about it.
Well, we'll see if we're able to get at a point where we're able to see his skin. So just give us a second. Now look at Ready Axel's skin. The beauty this thing is. Look at those eyes and look at those teeth. Those teeth are, what can I say, beautiful. They remind me of home. The beautiful English teeth. As we also have just the big smile on his face. I hopefully believe that this is, you know, him behind the camera just smiling out, able to play such a tournament as this and performing so well.
Yeah, and ladies and gentlemen, just remember, brush your teeth. Very good. You won't have a white rack like this guy has if you don't brush your teeth. And I mean, get some sleep, because look at those eye rings around his eyes. You know, this man looks tired. As much as he's happy and he's smiling, you know, you got those eye rings around his eyes there, and those are the signs of you being tired. If you got those things, maybe take a nap. You know.
I couldn't agree with you more. Now, his skin compared to the others, he definitely has the more style and pizzazz about him. He cares more about himself. That's how I feel about the skin. This skin is more of a me, I'm having fun, I'm enjoying myself here. While the others are more, I am proud of my country and I want to show off who I am. So we'll really have to see if any of their egos start coming up. Imagine Ready Axel just comes in and it's just like, this is my territory, this is my turf.
I'm pretty sure it's because he's the only one with club access, because the other three don't have clubs, and because of that, right? And well, guess what? You can only change your skin if you have club access. So, yeah, that's a thing.
Okay, so we should probably make a thing where if somebody wins one of these tournaments, they, you know, get brought club access. I feel like that definitely should be added to the rulebook.
Maybe that's a prize pool, you know, for like 5th, 6th place. You get club access instead of getting money if you don't already have club access.
We just choose both. We're just
right?
like, you buy us 1 year club access?
Right, exactly. So you could either choose the $30 or you could choose club access if you have standard access. But that'd be pretty cool. As you know what else is cool? This ending here, it's really going to be between Ready Axel and Vorgel, and Ready Axel going more inside, and Vorgel steals away the round win from Vorgel, who had it very nicely up until that last sector.
I'm starting to understand that maybe Ready Axel is only winning because of club access. It's the skin. It intimidates the rest of the players so much that all of them, whenever they're behind him, they see the golden teeth that they are never able to get. You know, the pearly whites, that they get scared for their lives. So you need to make sure you're in front of this player, as it looks like he will be taking a small bump there, allowing El Pente, Charles, and Vorgel to be in a big lead against him. El Pente does have a slight lead on Charles and Vorgel. Charles does overtake for a little bit here. We'll have to see if he takes it. All players could be taken. It looks like Vorgel is getting left behind though. So looking like El Pente and Charles are fighting for this front. El Pente is really showing up here. But Vorgel, he does understand this part of the map. He does get a little bit of speed here. So he's able to catch up to El Pente. He is so far behind. It takes a slightly outside dirt line, which doesn't seem to be gaining him any speed. But El Pente does take it slow, so maybe I am wrong. Charles does have a big lead right now on the others as they are coming to the last turn. It's going to be a 1, 2, and 3 with Ready Axel coming back with 2 seconds behind, getting 4th place.
Oh man, that's the Charles that we like to see after a long dip in performance, right? He started off so good, 3-round wins to start off the match, and now he's 15 points below Radiaxo and 12 points ahead of El Penche, who he himself is 16 points ahead of Vorgel. So everyone's really, really separated at this point, right? Over double digits separate each and every player at this point. And so Radiaxo, he can't really chill, but he can chill if he wanted to, right? And Charles, I mean, he can chill if he wanted to. He shouldn't really do it. El Penche, he really can't chill whatsoever. He is so far behind second place, which is what he needs. And, well, same thing with Vorgel. He is massively behind. He needs 28 points just to get top 2 and tie up with Charles. Radiaxo in the lead. Vorgel in second place. He needs more than just these 6 points here. He needs the round win. And so he'll fight it into the final corner here. He'll go wide, and less speed will equal out second place for him. And so second place, 6 points to his name. He'll catch up to both El Penche and Charles, but Radiaxo extends his lead to Charles.
Yes, and one thing about Radiaxo's skin, apparently it is Manok's Discord profile picture. So maybe it isn't his face, but maybe next time, if he does win this all and get into the next one, maybe we can have a picture of his face. And then we'll Photoshop on, like, his whole entire face is just all pearly whites. Just like the beautiful teeth he has on his skin right now. As we are talking about Radiaxo, he is in first place right now with Charles and El Penche right on his tail, but it's looking like he does have a bit of speed on him, as Vorgel is just not able to keep up with the pack. Vorgel really just isn't able to keep up with the pace that the other players are putting out right now, as Radiaxo does make a mistake, allowing Charles to get in first place right now, but El Penche does take over right now. Charles just didn't have the speed to keep first place for very, very long, as El Penche takes a nice outside line. Both players doing a very good line through the dirt as they go past the plastic, onto the grass, and now onto the tech. This is near the end right now. El Penche needs to make a big mistake to lose this, as he does hit the wall, but we'll just class that as a stylish finish. So El Penche will be in first, Charles in second, and Vorgel in third.
Yeah, very, very nice round there for everyone, and that'll bunch them up just a little bit, as Radiaxo now all he needs is a first or second place to get himself up to 120 points, because he is now 26 points away from Finalist Mode. Yes, 140 points for Finalist Mode. While we have this 1 minute of break, let us talk about the other casts. If you are from Brazil, we have a Brazilian cast for you to go watch, and it's casted by Tenchalil and Beta BR on Brazilian Trackmania BR over there on that Twitch channel, if you want to go watch that in Brazilian. And there's also a Spanish cast for all you Latin Americans out there, who is casted by CA 27. He's got himself his own cast on his own channel, so if you guys want to go watch it over there as well in Spanish, you may go do so, because our English voices sometimes just don't do it justice when your native language is what you prefer.
Well, yes, of course, but all casters are as good as each other. We have respect for each other. Everybody is trying their best to make this scene as good as possible, because all these players have worked so hard, so we try our best to bring you the best performance as possible. Now, to talk a little bit more about us, because we have 15 seconds, so we are on the Trackmania esports channel. If you do care, give us a follow, give us a Twitch Prime. It would be muchly appreciated. We don't just do this tournament, we do many other tournaments in the Trackmania scene, so we'd love to see you again, as we will be getting started on the next round of DMN 8. We'll have to see if Vorgel or El Penche are going to be able to catch up. Only the top 2 players will be getting through to the grand finals. It's anyone's game, and we'll have to see it here. Everybody is in a pack right now. Nobody has made any big mistakes. Radiaxo is getting slightly behind, but it looks like he does find pace out of nowhere. But that pace makes him hit the wall, making it a big mistake coming out from him. Vorgel in first place. We haven't seen this player performing in these matches so far, so it's good to see him near the front right now. Charles doesn't want this to stay though. He's hunting for him He took over the lead for a second, but Vogel took it right back. He doesn't want to lose this. But Charles, he's just on another level today. But Vogel is trying to keep up. Vogel is finally showing his true colors. He's showing what he can do as El Pente is watching from the back. He's going to take anyone if they make a mistake here. If they make any big mistakes, El Pente will be snapping up that second place. Maybe even the first. They both make mistakes here as Charles and Vogel are fighting against each other. As Vogel does take his first round win, getting 10 points with El Pente in second and Charles in third. Looks like Charles just made too big of a mistake.
Yeah, he just clipped the inside of the final turn there, as that's unfortunate. Vorgel, this is his favorite map, right? DMN8 is his favorite by far, just like El Penche's map is very much so Love Dive, you know? Everyone has their map that they hunted the most, and for Vorgel, this is the one. This is his map. This is his calling. If he can get all 40 points on this map, it would be quite the incredible comeback for him. It would really help him in his quest to get back into this match, because with 30 more points, he'd be at 108 in 3 rounds time. However, in 3 rounds time, if Radiaxo plays his cards right, he could be in Finalist Mode, as Radiaxo currently in the lead by half a second over Vorgel as they head off of the jumps here onto the grass into a really big important turn here. Vorgel, this is slower for him than Radiaxo and everyone else. However, he's got a better exit speed than everyone else. However, Radiaxo so far ahead that the exit speed of Vorgel does not matter. It doesn't matter at all, as Radiaxo gets himself a 56.3. Vorgel will get second. Charles and then El Penche. Vorgel right now catching up slightly to El Penche, and as Charles tries to stave off El Penche's return, Radiaxo is 13 points away.
Radiaxo only needs 13 more points before getting into Finalist Mode. I love that. Finalist Mode is one of my favorite things in most games, so they need to win one more round after getting Finalist Mode to get to the Grand Finals. Radiaxo has been doing so well through this whole entire match right now. Charles as well. El Pente and Vorgel, they have been fighting. They have been getting so close as Vorgel is fighting on this map. We did say it is one of his stronger maps right now. He is in third place. We'll have to see if he's able to make any comebacks right now. Charles is in first right now. Radiaxo is right on his tail. Vorgel is trying to catch up, but he just doesn't have the pace he's meant to have, as El Pente does get the speed. He does overtake Vorgel. It looks like it's a fight against each other. Vorgel does get away from El Pente and is hunting for this first place right now, as Radiaxo and Charles just won't stay away from each other. Charles takes an inside line. Does this allow him to get the win? He barely doesn't clip, allowing him to get 56.3 and a round win.
And the round win. That's so clutch for Charles, and especially that El Penche gets last. It breaks up that lead that El Penche had started to grow here, and that he was starting to catch up to Charles. And so now Charles can finally breathe again. Radiaxo, speaking of which, though, has so much breathing room. But now El Penche, after that L that he just took, Vorgel is now 11 points behind, breathing down his neck. El Penche already making a massive mistake, and so right now Vorgel has an opportunity, though his opportunity is going to come calling only if Radiaxo and Charles make a mistake, because they are 4/10 up the road of Vorgel. Charles and Radiaxo, both of them fighting for this lead. It is neck and neck. They are inside of each other. They both want this one badly. Charles really wants to get himself into this fight and wants to stop Radiaxo at all costs from getting into Finalist Mode. But with Radiaxo in the lead, he's gonna be in Finalist Mode if Charles can't do anything about it. Radiaxo gets the 10-pointer, and he played his cards absolutely perfectly, getting himself into Finalist Mode as we head onto what could be his last map before the Grand Finals.
We will really have to see. Radiaxo needs one more win to get to the Grand Finals. Is he able to do it? We will have to see as we are loading onto our next map. Quantum, are you ready? Are you ready to see who's going to get to the finals?
Oh my goodness, I can't wait to see who goes into the finals here, because there is a world, right? Of course, Mr. Doctor Strange, right, can go back in time and look at all of the different possibilities that happen, right?
Okay,
There is a
I'm thinking
world
right
where
now.
Radiaxo does not make it through, right? But Charles is 20 points away. He would need to win 3 rounds in a row to get there first. And then El Penche, he's 38 points out of there. He would need 4 round wins and then another round win just to beat out and win the match. So he would need 5 in a row. Vorgel, he would need 6 in a row to do the exact same thing. So these guys really far behind, but there is a world where Harmonic just does not harmonize well with Radiaxo's driving style.
We'll have to see if his driving style does match up with the map. We have 25 seconds left to find out if Radiaxo is going to be one of your grand finalists. Even though Radiaxo, if he does get through, there's still one more spot left. El Pente and Vorgel, they are fighting against Charles right now to see if they can snatch it away from him as well. Radiaxo and Charles came in together from the upper bracket finals, as we have Vorgel and Vorgel and El Pente coming from lower bracket finals. So we'll have to see if anything is going to happen here as we do get into this round. Radiaxo, can he do it? Can he get himself to the finals? He has a good start right now. He has a massive lead, but no, he pushed himself too hard. He got a little bit too excited, and now he's super far behind the map. Charles, Vorgel and El Pente, all 3 of them have to make a mistake to allow him to get to the grand finals, and all of these players do not want this to happen. Charles and Vorgel are fighting for this first place right now. Charles does have a slight lead on Vorgel. If Charles gets so many points now, he may even be able to get to Finalist Mode very, very soon. He needs to win 2 rounds to get there. El Pente and Vorgel are fighting for this second place right now. El Pente, just out of nowhere, gets a massive speed as Vorgel makes a slight mistake, allowing El Pente to get second place securely for himself. Charles, will he take first place? It is coming near the end here. Charles has huge speed as he's going onto the grass section here, but El Pente, look at the speed he is building. This is a map that is meant for him. It's all on the ice now. Who has the better ice slide? You may have to go for the risky finish, El Pente, if you want to try and do this. He seems to go for the safer line as they both get through safely with Charles in first place.
Yeah, he just didn't have the line to go for the risky. He would have slowed down way too much, and with Vorgel really close behind, he had to go for the safe finish, and that still, no matter what, will allow him to get more points over Vorgel, which is what is needed. It's kind of sad for Vorgel, not gonna lie, that DM8 is the final map in the rotation, right? Because it is by far his best map. So if Vorgel not able to fight up with the big boys, as Harmonic just doesn't seem to be his thing. Radiaxo, though, he did not do too well. It was all Charles earlier on at the start of the match, who won 3 in a row on this map. Let's see if he can make that happen again. 3 in a row would allow him to get into the grand finals before Radiaxo does. And right now, he's already got that 1 round win. El Penche fighting with Charles. Vorgel is in third, gatekeeping himself from Radiaxo in behind and making sure that he's close enough to really pressure both Charles and El Penche as El Penche catches up to Charles. But Vorgel's even faster. He's in third place, but he's catching up just as much as El Penche is on Charles. Look at the speed out of Vorgel. He needs to slow down just a little bit to make the corner. El Penche goes wide, does not go for the safe finish, and look at this. Charles will snipe El Penche right at the end, going wide, going for the risky, and now he's also in finalist mode himself and blocks off El Penche's tries to get the 10-pointer. Vorgel is 40 points away from finalist mode, and you have El Penche down by 26.
Take a breather, take a breather. Talking so much that you even needed to take a breath in your sentence right now. But guys, there are 2 finalists right now, Radiaxo and Charles. Who do you want to win? They are in first and second place right now. If they win 1 round, they will be into the grand finals. This is a big round for them. This is the first one Radiaxo has not made a massive mistake at the start. There is a big mistake coming out from Charles. He seems to be out of the running, but Vorgel and El Pente, they need to block Radiaxo if they want any chance of getting through. As Radiaxo almost clips the wall. How does he not? As El Pente is on his tail. This man, I need to find out the word for the Brazilian word for speed, because this man has it for sure. But Radiaxa, he is so far in front. Is El Pente able to catch up? Like, look at this pace. Radiaxa makes a big mistake. It's all on El Pente. El Pente seems to understand this map as he is coming into the ice turn very, very soon. Mistakes can happen. People can fall out of this place. We'll have to see if anything happens. Is El Pente going to block both players from getting to the grand finals? It seems like it, and he will block it by 0.2 seconds off Charles.
Man, what a round there. And, oh my goodness, El Penche blocks both finalists from making it through. And he furthers his agenda because now he's only 16 points from his own finalist mode. He could make quite the comeback, but look at Vorgel as well, right? He's only 36 points behind. He could make himself come back. Sadly, though, his map is just not in the map pool. It won't be played again. Diamonate will not be there for him. Now, when it comes to the Brazilians that are here, right? El Penche and Radiaxo, they have the Velocidade as they go through with this map here. They've both shown that they have Velocidade as they go into this map here. They're 1 and 2. They've got the Brazilian speed on their side. Radiaxo, though, he's had a lot of mistakes. He stopped himself from getting into the grand finals with all these mistakes. Fourth round, is it the charm here on Harmonic for Radiaxo with El Penche behind, making a mistake. Everyone else making a mistake. It's all on Radiaxo. He's all alone, and behind him is Charles. He needs to win this one. A mistake now out of Radiaxo would be unacceptable as Radiaxo goes more inside. He's going to go for the safe finish. Charles could snipe, but he won't. He does not have enough speed. He was too far behind. He was behind by just a little bit too far. So Radiaxo goes to the grand finals. But that could have easily been Charles as we now move on to Love Dive.
Love Dive is a map that all three of these players know well. All three of these players have played so much of. We'll have to see if somebody is going to dominate on this map. We may have one player through. We may have Radiaxo have won that round. But Charles, El Pente, and Vorgel, all three of these players are fighting for this. El Pente needs a minimum of 2 rounds to get to finalist mode. He needs to make sure that Charles doesn't beat him for 3 rounds, and then he could get into the grand finals. We'll have to see if this happens. Vorgel has a lot further to go. He has to win 5 rounds in a row to get to the grand finals. But we have seen more crazy things happen in Trackmania. This is why we adore this game, as we have 30 seconds till we get to find out if Charles is going to make it as our second contestant for the grand finals.
Yeah, this would be very intense for Vorgel to come back on, right? And despite this, this is El Penche's map. That is the crazy thing for Charles here, right? He might be faster, but he's made a lot more mistakes than El Penche. And El Penche, he does 103 to 102 consistently on this map. Let's see if El Penche can bring the heat. Can both Brazilians make it to the grand final here and make it? Or will it be the Colombian in Charles? We still have plenty of rounds left to be played here. Matt and Mannix await them in the grand final. Could it be a completely Brazilian grand final? We shall see, as Vorgel is ahead of Charles and El Penche to start us off here. Remember, there's only 3 of them now, as our first place finisher, Radiaxo, is out. He does not need to play anymore. It's all down to the final 3 players, Charles, El Penche, and Vorgel. Charles in the lead, but this map is prone to accidents. This map is one of the most accident-prone maps there is, and despite that fact, no one's crashed just yet, except for El Penche, as Charles now has a bigger and bigger lead. Behind him is Vorgel. Vorgel is the one now that needs to save El Penche. El Penche needs to be saved by Vorgel, and Vorgel needs to save himself as Charles now goes through the second to last checkpoint into the last checkpoint now. One final turn. He could be in the grand finals, and he will be, ladies and gentlemen, with a 102.6. Charles makes it through after a beautiful comeback on Harmonic by Charles to really get in close and away from El Penche and Vorgel. He keeps them at bay, and he makes it through as the last player. He will represent Colombia in the grand final, as the other 3 are from Brazil.
Radiax and Charles, GG to those two for getting to the grand finals. They have worked so hard to get here, and very well played. We will have to say goodbye to Vorgel and El Pente. They both came into this together and played so many rounds against each other, but it's good to see that both of them got so far to 5th and 6th place.
Yeah, it's crazy to say that players as good as Vorgel and El Penche are gone, right? They just disappeared like so, right? They're just gone. They're just absolutely gone, you know? Just what are you doing over there?
What side you are? On camera,
okay.
that's the problem. So
I'm on your on this side for you.
I'll just do this. Right, I'll just connect
perfect.
to both sides.
Perfect. Yeah, but the arm is just. Oh wait, I need to raise it up a little bit. Shoot.
There you go.
Hold
You
on.
disappeared.
There you go. Discord, pick this up, please, because this is what the disappearing act of El Penche and Vorgel happened to. Anyway, after all that said and done, ladies and gentlemen, we will be going to a break, and then we'll bring you the grand finals. We have 4 players, 3 from Brazil, 1 from Colombia. Your Colombian will be Charles. However, Manix, Matt, and you've got yourself Radiaxo as well going into these grand finals, who are going to try and stop Charles from being the Colombian winner. And hey, if Brazil tries its best, it might just get itself a whole podium of Brazilians up for this SAC. We'll see you in about 20 minutes time, ladies and gentlemen, for the start of the grand finals.
See you soon.
And bada bing, bada boom, here we are, ladies and gentlemen, for the South American Cup Grand Finals. Yes, we are finally here, ladies and gentlemen. It is absolutely nuts. We've had, what a day we've had so far today, huh? Mr. Zatos is with me today. How are you doing?
It's a pleasure, Quantum. It's always a pleasure to cast with you. But do you know what's even more of a pleasure? To cast a grand finals with some incredible players here. You know, I would talk about myself. I always love to. But we have 4 incredible players to talk about. Now, Quantum, why don't you start us off and tell me about one of the players?
All right, well, let's start off with Manox, right? He has gotten to the grand finals here. He's got his own map in. He came in 2nd place through the winner bracket, so he's never lost a match. He's been doing really, really decently for himself, fighting along the likes of El Penche and Vorgel, who are now eliminated, sadly. One player who is here as well, another Brazilian, his name is Matt, the only South American player to ever be in TMGL, finds himself in this competition as well. After a severe hand injury, he is back for the first time in a long while to a big competition, right? He's done some small casual competitions, but not big ones, right? And I mean, he's still resting that hand, but despite that fact, he's still got the skill. Then the 2 players who came in from the Consolidation Finals, they went down to the lower bracket early on. One of them was Radiaxo. He found himself in the lower bracket during, I do believe, the lower bracket finals, as well as, no, he never went down to the lower bracket finals. What am I talking about?
I don't believe he did.
No. He never made it down there. So yeah, but no one went down to the lower bracket finals, to the lower bracket until the lower bracket finals, my bad. So both Charles and Radiaxo coming in through there. Speaking of Charles, though, he is the only non-Brazilian player here as we are underway. And it is him versus Brazil, but it's also him versus his own car right now and driving because, well, it seems like he's not even going to get 3 points for this round as he keeps on crashing out. Manox and Radiaxo starting us off strong as we got ourselves a great little start here from Manox. No mistakes out of him as he's got 2 more turns left and 1 more momentous speed check to do. He's got 270 speed, that's more than enough, and he'll make it through a 58.3, very respectable. Radiaxo with a 59.1. Normally that won't get you 2nd place in this grand finals, but it will in this case, and Matt getting 3rd place. And as I said, a DNF for Charles to start us off with. That's not how you want to start, especially when it's a 3v1.
Well, it's not exactly a 3v1, but I can see what you mean by that. 3 Brazilians against 1 Colombian. But the map is Momentum by Desca. Well, we saw that Charles didn't have too much momentum in the last round, missing a few of the speed checks, but Charles is definitely keeping up with them now. All 4 players are right inside of each other. All of these players have worked so hard to be here, and all players are of equal ability, so I'm expecting some very close rounds coming out from these players here. Matt does have a small lead on the rest of them right now. Maddox is right on his tail. Charles is trying to keep up, though. We did say Radioxa did make a slight mistake, meaning he is slightly behind. Manox makes a slight mistake as well, allowing Charles to snipe that 2nd place for him. We'll have to see if Manox allows this to happen. Charles goes slightly too far up. Is this going to affect him? As it looks like Radioxa and Manox take it away, but Radioxa gets taken away by the wall there, allowing Charles to take 3rd place again. Matt is still in 1st place. He has plenty of speed as all 3 players pass the finish line, going 1, 2, 3, and the 4th comes in. It goes Matt, Manox, Charles, then Radioxa.
And that 57 time is sick. SRK, I know you have it near you. What is world record on this map? Because a 57.9 seems pretty fast to me. I do believe it's a 0.4, is it not? SRK?
Is he asleep? SRK seems to be a little bit too tired here. He had to cast at the start and now he had to cast all of yesterday, so we cannot blame the man. But people who seem to not be sleeping are the players right now. They are on the edge of their seats, fighting in the grand finals. Manox is in 1st place. Charles and Radioxa are right behind him as there was a small mistake coming out from one of the players, as Charles does take a little bit of sand there, but doesn't slow him down too much. It's all between Manox and Redioxa for first place right now. Manox hasn't had a first place yet so far. He's been a little bit behind the pack, but he is definitely showing up right now. Being in first, it seems like momentum is finally building behind his car. With this first place, he could definitely do better in this tournament as he comes to the final point with plenty of speed. Plenty of, speed to spare, having a 58.1. Not a bad time at all, with Redioxa behind him and Charles in third, with Matt barely making it.
It's a very respectable time, and for Matt, I mean, he at least gets those 3 points, but he starts off rough on these first 3 rounds. Manox has won 2 rounds and gotten second place on the other. Meanwhile, for Charles, it's been so rough because 1 DNF and 2 third places are not going to be enough for him to really get into this fight early on. He needs this round win, and he needs it bad because Manox here, he's currently got the advantage, and at this point, if he keeps on winning these rounds with as much tenacity as he's got, he'll grab the early momentum in this matchup here in the grand finals. Though Matt will want to take it away. He'll want to get started here. The engine needs to get going. It needs to heat up, but Charles also needs to as well. Everyone has their own storyline. Everyone has their own story to tell, and everyone needs a story to be told. Manox right now in the lead, hits the wall, and now relinquishes himself down to the bottom position of the podium as Matt overtakes Charles with such an inside line. That is a very nice by Matt and allows Charles to get second place and Manox in third. Now Radiaxo getting fourth will relinquish him down further into the depths as Manox is only in the lead by 3 points now because of that Matt snipe on Charles.
We'll have to see if that does come into effect later on. All these players are so close in skill that small mistakes like that, small outplays like that are going to be the reasons that they are going to win this tournament, because any 4 of these players could take it. I can't say which way it's going to go, but it looks like the Brazilian army of Manox, Matt and Redioxa are really just slightly in front of Charles, but Charles has plenty of time to catch up as we are going onto the beautiful map of Timberhead that we found out it's the way that, ships dock. It's the little thing to wrap around.
You wrap the rope around it. It's those little pieces of wood that are like bulbs on the side of the dock, and you wrap the rope around it to bring in boats. That's what a timber is.
It's not even wood.
But the word timber means that it is wood. It implies that it is made out of wood.
Well, maybe I have not been to enough docks in my life, but we have about 30 seconds until we get onto the next map here. So for everybody that doesn't know, they need to get to 140 points to get to Finalist Mode. And in Finalist Mode, they need to win 1 more round before they win the whole entire tournament, before they get their first, second, third, or maybe even 4th place, if you're having an unlucky day.
Yeah, it just depends how unlucky your day is. However, it really comes down to how consistent you are, right? Because as SRK pointed out to yesterday, this is all about Fiesta, right? It is all about how much you could survive, right? This isn't all about just your speed, right? The speed is a nice little cherry on top, but if you can do the whole lap without making a single mistake and having a respectable time, right, like within a second of WR, you will most likely win the round. If you can do that regularly, that is even better. As off we go here for the first round of the second map. Manox and Radiaxo in the lead. Radiaxo actually touches the water, and so he finds himself really far behind now as Manox will lead the charge. Matt right behind him. Charles in third. Charles really needing the points as he started off really slowly on the first one on momentum, as Manox right now leads the group and leads in points and now leads this round as well, and he'll get the full 10 points if he doesn't crash out, which he does not. A 54.2 will win the round quite easily as Matt gets second place, but that's still a 4-point differential to be added as now there's 7 points separating Manox and Matt.
Manox is making a slight lead for himself, having 7 points over anyone else in the tournament. Also, on top of that, he has a 22-point lead on Radiaxa Charles, who is the lowest in the standing right now. Charles really needs to try and bring something out, or it's going to be a clean first, second, and third coming out from the Brazilians. Is the Colombian able to do anything against the Armada, the army of the Brazilians? We'll have to see. But Matt is in first place, Rodiaxa is in second, but Charles is trying to change that right now. He did slightly take over for a second, but Rodiaxa was there to take it right back from him. Matt and Rodiaxa, they are fighting against each other as they go past the next turn. Looks like Matt is almost in the lead. I cannot tell, these players are right next to each other as Charles makes a huge mistake, leaving it all to the three Brazilians here. Matt is still in first. Rodiaxa has come down as Mannix is trying to overtake him right now. He's not trying to overtake, he's trying to take first place with a massive bonk. It just still doesn't matter as he takes second.
Takes second place, and that will bring in Matt once again on Mannix, and now there's only 1 point separating those two, as Charles now is pushed away from Radiaxo, and now we've got ourselves a weird little double match going on here, because every point matters, because we need the top three here, right? We need these players to get first, second, third, and fourth, right? And even third and fourth will have that difference to be made here, right? They will make the difference, because I do believe there is a difference in the price pool between third and fourth. So it is important that you still beat your opponent no matter who it is. But as I said, they're trying to make a Brazilian podium here. All Brazilian podium against one Colombian, one lone Charles, as he's gone from third to first here in this round as he overtakes Mannix and Matt, but Matt is closing in. So is Radiaxo, actually. Everyone having their moment as Charles will go more inside, allowing him more speed out of the exit. Everyone with 54 times, and Mannix and Matt so close, separated by 2 milliseconds between both of them. Radiaxo separated away by only 30 milliseconds, and I mean, just up ahead, 0.2 of a second was poor little Charles, who's now catched up slightly to Matt and Mannix, but he's at least taken third place away from Radiaxo.
Quantum, this is what we're talking about. We were saying that we wanted close rounds. In other matches, we had two players who were fighting out against each other. But in that round, all four players being in 0.2 of each other. We haven't seen that before in the tournament, at least in the second day from what I have been casting. This is the closest match I have seen, and this is the grand finals. All four of these players want to get first place. All four of these players want the maximum amount of money. And we do have Manox in the first place in the standings and in this round right now. Is he able to keep it? All three players behind him are hunting for him. Rodiaxa is closest behind right now with Matt tailing Rodiaxa. They are coming to the final corner, and it is looking like Manox, even with a slight mistake, is able to make it with a 0.02 lead over Rodiaxa.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of the second map. And after all that, Mannix leads with 60 points, picking up 75% of the total points that he possibly could, which means he's averaging himself right now a good old 7.5 points per round, right? That is much higher than anyone.
That is good maths.
That is very... What do you mean good maths? It's easy maths, right? That's 8 divided by 6. It's 75%. And then, well, if that's the case, that's 7.5 points out of 100%.
The quick maths coming out from you. Remember what country I'm from. Do you really think we're the smartest?
I thought you said you had the quickest maths in the West now, or I should say in Eastern Europe.
Well, I may have overstated that. I won't have to lie. But one thing we cannot overstate is the ability of these players. 3 Brazilians and 1 Colombian have come so far to get to this final here. Manox, Matt, Radiaxa, and Charles. They are 4 players that you cannot scoff at. Our next map will be DMNA by Manox, one of the players into the finals right now. He is in first place. We'll see if he's able to get a slight lead on the other players because of the map. But we did see that when Manox and Matt last faced off on this map, Matt was winning out.
I've seen a lot of new people in the chat. Hey, if you are Brazilian or Portuguese in general and want to listen to a Portuguese cast we got you covered over on Trackmania BR, where Beta is casting for, in Brazilian, well, in Portuguese, I should say, for the Brazilian side. And there's also Sayas, who is casting in Spanish for the Latin Americans who want to listen in Spanish as well. So if you guys want to listen to the cast in your native tongues rather than in our plebeian Englishes, then you are more than welcome to go do so over on their channels. As we're down into round number 9, round number 1 of map number 3 on Diamonate by Mannix. Currently Mannix in the lead in 60 points to his name. Matt, 51 points to his name. Radiaxo, 36, and Charles with 34, the only Colombian here, as he is currently in last place in both this round and in the point standings. Actually, my stand corrected because he is in third currently. As Matt, he falls down, he clips into the wall. Mannix now in first place. He's all alone with Charles just slightly behind, who catches up actually. Charles could catch up to Mannix. No, it's not enough time either for Charles, as Mannix will win the round with a 56-0. Charles will get second, Matt gets third, and now Mannix once again extends his lead from Matt, and now that goes from 9 points to 15.
Something big that happened in that round was Radioxa did not finish. He went all the way from second or third place all the way down to fourth place. 4 points behind Charles. Charles is trying to make it where all Brazilians don't win. This player wants to win himself. Now, we'll have to see if he's able to do anything right now as Matt makes another crucial mistake, allowing all 3 of the players to catch up to overtake him. We do have Manox in the lead right now with Charles and Radioxa on his tail trying to fight back against him. We'll have to see if making the map has made him better at it than the rest of the player. But all the other players have had plenty of time to practice, so hopefully this doesn't come too much into effect. Manox does have a slight lead. Onto the grass part they go. And that's going for the big turn. It's looking like all players don't make any massive mistakes. And talking about mistakes, Charles goes into the wall with huge force, meaning that he will be out of the run-ins for first place. As Radioxa does have more speed than Manox, but Manox is just too far ahead. Getting a big 55.9. One of the first 55s of the day.
Yeah, one of the first 55s of the day, as you say, and it's really coming clutch here because it's separating himself and Matt. Matt is crumbling under the pressure here. He's really been the one to beat this entire tournament, and right now, more than halfway there is Mannix. He is 60 points away from Finalist Mode. Matt, Charles, and Radiaxo themselves are much farther away. In fact, Radiaxo and Charles just barely less than 100 points away from Finalist Mode. That'll just show you how far ahead Mannix is, and if he could continue on that note, it would be so beneficial for him and detrimental for everyone else. Radiaxo in the lead. Matt is there with him. Charles has overtaken Mannix, but everyone is within 1/10 of each other. 100 milliseconds separates first to last, as Matt right now takes the lead from Radiaxo. Charles goes ahead as Matt hits into the wall. The stress really coming down into it as Radiaxo goes more inside. Charles goes more outside. Who has more speed? They're instead of each other. It's gonna be Radiaxo by barely nothing. 5/100ths of a second separates Radiaxo and Charles. Mannix gets third, but that was a close match, and Matt getting last place. He still cannot get any closer to his Brazilian rival, as Radiaxo now brings the points gap between himself and Matt down to 9.
This is the ability of all these players. We were saying that a 55 is so rare to see from all of these, and all of these players were in 0.5 of reaching that threshold. Matt and Radiaxo do make a mistake at the start. They are trying to push themselves to the limit. This is why you will see mistakes coming out from them. If they don't push themselves, they will be getting in probably the 3rd or 4th spots. They really need to push themselves to try and get into these top positions, as Manox and Charles are in 1st and 2nd. Manox has been taking a dominant lead on this map right now. It's looking like making the map has definitely come in with an advantage here, but Charles is no player to scoff at. He doesn't care if you've made the map, but it seems like this dirt part is just making huge mistakes. He just really doesn't understand how to get through this without slightly making a bonk, but he does have enough speed. We'll see if anyone takes him over, and it does not look like it. He was able to secure that 2nd place with Manox in 1st, Radioxa in 3rd, and Matt in 4th.
Yeah, this is not Matt's map, but it needs to be because now look at this. The points gap is 30, and Radiaxo currently pointing out what is Matt doing, right? He is completely out of this map. He came in fourth, I do believe, every single round. That is so bad for his run here to try and get first place. And I mean, he was the favorite coming in for a reason. Right now, Manix taking the bull by the horns. I guess he really didn't go outside and touch grass, because right now he is only the only grass he's touching is the one in Trackmania.
Yes, we will have to see if any of the players are able to, really show up and show how good they are. But we are onto a new map. We are on the map Harmonic by a beautiful Englishman. Or is he? Is he? I need to make sure. I cannot insult him.
I do not know that Wizzy is a countryman. Come on now.
Yes, that's why I know. That's why I know. Give me a sec. Give me a sec. This is more important than the whole entire stream, because I will get killed by a full community.
Imagine not knowing your own countrymen.
He could be Irish, he could be Scottish, he could be Welsh. Do you know how much that would insult me?
To be fair, at the end of the day, everyone's British, except for the Irish. Well, Northern Irish, they're still British, but the Irish, no, you don't call them British, they'll kill you.
Exactly, do you see what I mean? I need to be very careful.
Yeah, but like, the Scots won't care too much.
No, okay, well, there's not that many Scottish players, to be honest, that are going around either.
I mean, there's Scotty.
Yeah, no, that one's pretty easy to tell where he's from, but I will correct myself later on. But back on to the round here, as we have started on the map of Harmonic. Manox, Matt, Charles, and Rodioxa are your 4 finalists. We do have Manox with a considerable lead, 30 points above anyone else, being up to 94. He still has a ways to go to get into 140 points. We'll have to see if anyone is able to catch up to him, as Matt does take a slight lead on everyone else here. Charles is right on his tail already. Exit out of nowhere does take that second place. Matt goes for a slightly outside line, which is favoring him massively, as he does have more speed on the exit turn. Now we have Radioxa and Manox right inside of each other, hunting for this second place, and it's looking like Manox just doesn't take the right line, allowing Radioxa to get a huge lead on him, and even Charles is catching up to him. Charles has stolen the 3rd place from him as well. Manox went from 1st to last place in a very fast time, as Matt does have a big lead. But remember, this is the map with the ice on it. That's where everybody can make it or break it. If you have a good ice turn, you can catch up to everyone. They all start their ice drifts. We'll see if anybody does drift out. Matt goes for an interesting line. Does it affect him? As it does. Radiaxa snipes and gets that first 10 points.
What was that finish? I thought some players were going to go for the safe finish, but everyone took different lines to get into the risky finish through the triangle, and no one really got it bad. Everyone got a 106, a low 106, to be honest there. And that was quite the nice little round that we got to witness as our first round on Harmonic. The ice there, no one really was on thin ice that round, which was very, very nice to see, as Manix, Matt, Radiaxo, and Charles keep on going here. They all want the points. They all want the victory here. Manix 42 points away from victory, as Matt is getting caught up by Charles and Radiaxo. Though Charles is still in 4th place, he is still really, really close. A good round by him could mean that he's in 2nd position. Right now, Matt needs to catch up to Manix, but Manix in the lead. Manix right now leading the charge. He's got himself 1st place, as Matt makes a mistake. He clips Charles, catching up slightly as we get into the last turn here. And here comes Charles on Manix. Manix with less speed. Charles goes wider than Manix. Charles going for the inside line. Manix slows down a little too much, but he gains more than enough time by going through the inside line, allowing Charles to get 2nd, Radioxo to get 3rd, and with that big clip by Matt, getting himself 4th. And now look at this. 3 points separates himself and Radiaxo, and Charles only 8 points away from Matt.
Charles had a beautiful line through the ice. He had so much speed as he was going through there, but he was just too far behind, allowing Manox to just keep the lead there. Manox looks like a new beast in this grand finals. Everybody else is so close to each other, less than 10 points in between them, but there is a 35-point gap between Manox and the second place. This man is taking over, but it's looking like Matt is trying to take over this round right now, as he is in first place. Manox and Charles are trying to compete against him in the second and third position. Radiaxa is nowhere in sight. Charles is trying to take over Manox. He is trying to take over Matt. Can he do both? Oh, 3 players are fighting. Matt couldn't handle the pressure and does bonk the side, leaving Manox and Charles to fight again for this first place. Manox usually does have a lead on this part, so we'll have to see if he's able to do a good enough ice slide. This is how they were last time. Charles did have a bare ice ending, but Manox had just barely enough speed to get there before him. Manox starts it up already. Does anyone slide out both these players? No, ice to a T, and it looks like both go for a simple, nice finish, and Manox gets another 10 points, making a bigger lead for himself.
Here's the thing, right? Manox right now is taking such a commanding lead over everyone else in the field. It's crazy. 6 points separate Manox and separate Matt and Charles, who are in second and fourth respectively, and you got Radiaxo in there with 73 points to his name as well. Manox in the lead by 41 points. He has over a third. Matt, right? You take his points, right? You multiply it by 150%, and Manox has more points than that. That just shows you just how many points and how dominant Manox has been. In 15 rounds, he has 118 points. This is going to be round number 16 here, and if he wins this one, which is not looking too likely because Charles is ahead by a quarter of a second, make that even 0.3 of a second now, as Radiaxo even fighting with him. It could be a 4-pointer for him, but even if he only gets 4 points here, he'll still be at that 75% point mark that he had been at round number 8. So at this point in time, he's actually turned up the pace at this point in time. So Charles right now, as he heads into the finish, Manox more inside, but Charles with the outside line will gain more speed through the ending. So he'll get first. Manox gets second. Radiaxo gets third. Matt gets fourth. He is full tilt right now as Charles has charged back into second place. Matt is in third, in trouble of getting fourth. And if you take a look at Manox on 122 points, 76% of the points he could have totally gotten, he has gotten. Out of 160 points, he's gotten 122. The man is on fuego.
I couldn't agree with you more. Charles has been trying to catch up with him. Charles has really come far to try and stop the 3 Brazilians getting first, second, and third. But Manox is a different beast, I would say, compared to Matt and Radiaxa in the grand finals. Last time Manox and Matt met each other, we saw Matt take first place against Manox there. Manox was able to get second place there, but it looks like Manox, something happened to him. Maybe he woke up, maybe he did a few exercises and got himself in gear, because right now he is raring and ready to win the whole tournament.
Yeah, he is so... Manox right now is just in the zone, and can you really blame him? As Matt right now, he's in the dumps, right? Yeah, he wrote it earlier. I didn't know if it was a joke that he wrote that he was tilted, but right now, it really does seem like it is. He's not taking a round win at all.
I think he's just drunk driving. Let's just hope that he's just drunk driving.
Let's hope for a comeback here out of Matt, because the tilt really is real if it is existent. Charles right now had second place. Radiaxo is in fourth. He's fallen down to last, but he could really easily take over third place here. As we head on to Love Dive, we could see the points change for just about anyone. Positions could be switched between any of the bottom 3 players right now, but the bottom 3 is not of Manox's in Manox's view, because he has over 150% more points than anyone else in this lobby. Manox right now in clear dominant position. He's gonna fight with Charles for the last 10 points of this round here, though, as right now Mannix and Matt fight for the lead. Charles right in behind them as they go for the triangle. Everyone survives it just fine. And the last player in behind, that is Radiaxo. He is not fine. He's completely out of it. No fight for him in this round. Mannix in the lead. He's got himself Matt for company, who's right behind. He hits. It's Mannix. He's got a big lead all to himself. And Charles, he can charge his way ahead of Matt. And with more points to his name than Matt will get, he will be happy nonetheless, as that is such a good time out of Mannix. The world record is a 0.4. He gets a 0.652. And Charles right behind with a 0.3, with a 103.1. Great stuff out of him. Matt just cannot get a clean run.
Now, stress is a big factor of tournaments like this. They have come very far to get to the grand finals where they are now. Mannix is one win away from getting to the finalist mode if he gets first or second place. So this player needs to stay first or second to achieve this. He'd prefer for first and nobody else is there. But we need to talk about stress. These players have gone through so much. Stress can break a man, or it can make you so much stronger and make you go faster than ever before. And Mannix seems to be the player that has taken it into his stride and has really zoned in on how to play these maps, how to play Trackmania. This is a masterclass on how to play these maps. 0.2 on the last match he just did right there. So it's between Charles to stop him from getting there. But Mannix, just look at this. He just has so much speed compared to the rest of the players. It looks like he doesn't go up to just 6th gear. He goes up all the way to 10th gear with how fast this player is going as he's going into the final turn. And he is going to be our first finalist in the grand finals.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is time. Grand finals finalist time, as first place could be won here by Mannix. He's got at least a minimum of 7 rounds to work with. Charles is the only player with 90 points. He needs 5-round wins just to get himself into finalist mode, and then 1 more to win. So 6 rounds to work with, my bad, which is the next 2 maps. This one and the next one. He can lose every single round and let Charles win every single one, and he would still be in danger, but at this point he would still be the favorite to win it all. Matt right now, he's the only one who can stop Mannix from getting first place. And look at Mannix, he's so confident that he's gone for the safe route through that checkpoint. He's not even gone for the triangle. Why risk it when Matt is the one ahead of you? He's not had a clean run at all during these grand finals, and he the ending, and that's why Charles behind is the only one who can do anything, and he crashes. Ladies and gentlemen, Mannix wins South American Cup.
Mannix, what a player to win this. He has come so far. He has worked so hard, not even losing a round. He may have lost to Matt the last time they faced each other coming second, but he makes sure that in the grand finals he is going to show up, not with just a victory, with a dominating victory. Remember, they had to get to 140 points to get to finalist mode. The closest player is 97 points away. This player didn't just take over the region, he absolutely annihilated it, getting first place. Well played, Nux.
Very well played indeed. Raises eyebrow, might be the next South American in TMGL if he so desired to try and be there after the footsteps left by Matt. Speaking of him, he is in second place right now, first place right now on this map, on this round, but right now in the match, he's in third place, in position to fall down to last place, but also in position to grab himself second position, as he's not crashed out just yet into the second to last checkpoint here, into the final drift. He does so perfectly fine, and now he'll finally get first place in what feels like forever, and it's a sick time, a 102.1. What a time out of Matt. That is a dominating time, and Charles gets himself second, and so now it's going to be a fight between Charles, Matt, and Radiaxo as we head on to the next map.
we may already know who the winner is of it all, but this doesn't end it here. We still have second, third, and fourth to find out. Manox, Charles, and Radioxa have worked. Sorry, Charles, Matt, and Radioxa have worked so hard to be here, as we do have Charles being only 5 wins away from getting to finalist.
My goodness gracious. That was a statement out of Matt. That is the fastest time in a round match that I've seen on Love Dive. I'm pretty sure that
Could that have been world record? I think it was world record. I think it was 0. How close was it?
0.2. It's 0.2 from world record. World record is 101.9. But that is by far the fastest time that we've seen during the rounds. The record during rounds was a 102.6. So him getting a 102.1 in rounds is the statement. Is Matt back?
We will have to see. But Matt has faced against Manox in so much of this tournament, and now that his buddy in crime Manox has finished in first place, we'll have to see if this makes Matt want to go for this second place even more. If he wants to show that maybe if Manox does beat him, he is still second best, but he is going against two incredible players. He is going against Radioxa, and he is going against Charles. Charles is only 2 points ahead of him, so anything is to play for as we are starting the round on momentum.
Oh man, momentum. It's all about the jumps. It's all about how you carry your momentum, your speed over speed checks, and there's plenty of those to go around. Here's the first one. As all the players go through, no one's made a mistake just yet. As Matt, Charles, and Radioxa go through here to the second one, and everyone again makes it through just fine. Charles with a small lead over Radioxa and Matt. They find themselves all relatively close to each other, just 0.2 of a second separate all three of these guys as we find ourselves in the second half of this one. The next jump done fine by and perfectly by everyone. More inside by Matt. He gains more speed from it, and he leaves Radioxa in the dust. Radioxa leaves himself in his own dust as Matt now takes a wide outside line on the dirt. He'll get himself the lead, and now with a more inside afterwards, yeah, he's got the speed. He's got the last tiny jump to do, and he gets himself a beautiful high 57 time to win the round. Charles gets second, but now Matt takes back second place from Charles, and they're starting to leave Radioxa in their dust.
Radioxa really has to do something if he wants to catch up to Matt and Charles. These two have been fighting tooth and nail behind Manox. Manox may have seemed in a different league from them, but these two players, they have tried their best to try and beat each other one by one. So we'll have to see if Radioxa is able to do anything. He's able to keep up for the start of this round. Nobody's made huge mistakes as the first jump has been started. Charles going for a slightly different line to the rest of them. Radioxa is in first place right now, but anyone could go as Matt makes a big mistake there. Charles will eat this up, getting second place. Radioxa, is he going to be able to keep first place here? He needs 10 points here if he wants to try and catch up to the rest of these players. He needs to not make any major mistakes. Charles does have a slightly inside line. He is getting more speed than him. We'll have to see if he's able to catch up. Here's the dirt part. Dirt, you need to go as far as possible to the side. Both players going as far as possible. Radioxa, does he have enough speed? It seems like it. As we are nearing to the final corner, both players have enough speed as Radioxa is taking his first win with 58.0.
On this map, yeah, Radioxa taking it down there, and now he's going to catch up a bit to Charles. He's only going to catch up by 4 points, but 4 points is a lot when that gap was 12 points. You just took away 33% of that lead that Charles has above you, and on top of that, Matt and Charles are now tied on points. So now not only are you 8 points away from Charles, you're 8 points away from Matt. If you're Radioxa, you're right in this fight here, as Manox, he's already popped open a champagne bottle for sure, drinking it down. Maybe he's already completely downed it, as this match will keep on carrying on. We've got ourselves a minimum of another map to go after this one, just to figure out who's going to get second place. As both Radioxa and Charles head into the wall, this round is easy for Matt. Matt should not make any more mistakes here, and he's got a free round ahead of him as he lays down the foundations for a nice little round. However, Radioxa and Charles fighting for that last little point. They're not separated by too much back there, as they've all made small mistakes. Their gap is growing, though, as it's going to look like Radiaxo's going to win that one over the Colombian, as Matt gets himself first place with a very decent time. And look at that, Charles actually improvising a beautiful finish there. You guys, I think you guys get to see this on the stream as well. As no, you don't. Oh, that sucks. Oh wait, you do. Okay, you do. That is such a beautiful improvised finish there for the risky finish on. Oh wow, that is.
You
sick.
know, he was practicing that in warm-up rounds.
Oh,
It was just it was just having a bit of fun with him warm-up rounds. If somebody was paying attention, you would have definitely seen him do it beforehand. But we'll have to see if he'll do it again in the actual round. It seems a little bit too risky to work, but we'll have to see. As Charles does have a considerable lead over Matt right now, but Matt does seem to have more pace coming out here, so we'll have to see if he's able to catch up. It's all about who goes further on the dirt. So looking like Matt does have slightly more speed. He does eat a bit of sand, so does Charles as well. They come into the next corner. These players have been fighting so hard against each other, and it's looking like Matt does get a slight lead on him right now. He takes it over, but will he be able to keep it? All these players have been working so hard. Radiaxa is nowhere to be seen as he's so far behind. Charles needs to catch up to Matt. He can't let him get too many points ahead of him, as Matt does take another round for 57.8.
It's incredible, right? That Matt's. This is what we expected out of Matt, right? Just fast times over and over again and consistently. Sadly, he only came into his element when Mannix finally finished off SAC and won it all. However, Matt has a chance. He's 5 points away from getting himself finalist mode as we head on to what could possibly be our final map. Charles is 15 points away from finalist. He would need to get second place and then a round win for himself to get him into finalist mode. And Radiaxo, he is 23 points away. So 1 map finish and 2 map wins would get him into finalist mode as well. We could see a triple finalist mode here if Matt does repeat what had happened on this map. If we repeat Timberhead incident for Matt, this could be quite the grand final finish.
Now, having a triple finalist finish would be a beautiful way to end off this tournament. All 3 of these players have been so close in the standings for so long. Any of these 3 players on a different day could have won it, but Manox was the player to win it all, as we have about 30 seconds before we get on to most likely the final map for this whole entire tournament.
Beta, if you're gonna listen to this at some point, I don't know why you would, but if you ever do, please cast these guys if they go for TMGLO and to try and get into TMGLC. These guys have the skill, and listen, everyone has a good chance to make it here. So support your own countrymen, support your region, guys. I'm going to be casting my countrymen, the Canadians, who are going to be trying to get into TMGLO as well. So if we get to see any of these guys head into TMGLO as well, hey, we could ruin the balance of how many Europeans get into there. That would be quite something, you know? The growing scene in Asia with AOTC, the growing scene in NA with TAO, and the growing scene here in Brazil, in Argentina, in Chile, and every other South American country here with SAC has proven to us that there are so many good players, right? Of course, Yuma did not participate in this SAC. However, he is still one of the best ever players from South America, who hails obviously from Argentina. You have Matt, the ex-TMGL driver, the only TMGL driver from South America. And right now he's in the lead. He's looking to get himself finalist as he bounces in, gets himself first place. Charles in behind with those 6 points. He needs to win this next round to block Matt from getting the win, and then to get himself into finalist mode himself. Radiaxo needs 2 round wins in a row to block both of them from getting themselves the win, and then he himself will get finalist, and then a 3rd in a row will let him win and get himself second place. It's anyone's game.
Radiaxa, Matt, and Charles are going to be fighting for this here. Is Matt going to be able to get second place in this tournament? We'll just have to see. Charles is in first place right now. He needs to win this if he wants finalist mode. If he wins 2 in a row, he's going to be second place. He's going to be getting that silver medal. But it's looking like the other players are not wanting this to happen. Matt isn't going to try and stop him. He's too far behind. It's all onto Radiaxa. Is he going to be able to stop Charles? Charles is so far ahead. Charles just needs to keep this pace. If I was in his cockpit right now, you'd be telling him to keep it safe, keep it slow. Get yourself into finalist mode, as he seems to be doing right here. Trying to go for slightly safer lines, trying to make it so he will get there, as he makes a massive mistake, allowing Radiaxa to take over for him. If Radiaxa wins one more round, well, sorry, 2 more rounds, he will be getting into finalist mode.
No. You don't understand. If Radiaxo wins this next round, we have triple finalist mode.
Quantum, when's the last time we had triple finalist mode?
Oh boy, TAO was a long time ago, wasn't it, my friend? But
it was one of the best.
Oh my goodness. It was one of the best. Ladies and gentlemen, if you did not get to see that tournament, VODs of it exist on YouTube. Just type in Fast Point and you'll get to see it. But now's not the time to watch it, because we have a maximum of 2 more rounds left to be played here. Well, I should say 3 more rounds left to be played to separate 3rd and 4th place. But 2nd place can be crowned right here if Matt wins. If not, for sure 2nd place will be crowned next round. And Radiaxo right now is in the lead. He needs to win this one, or else we won't have our triple finalist mode. Ladies and gentlemen, give him your power. We want it. We want the triple finalist mode. Charles right now a little bit too far behind Matt. He goes wide. Radiaxo speed. He's gonna bring us the triple finalist mode. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring you Zapdos to bring us the final round of SAC.
Ah, thank God I am British. I need all the words in my dictionary to try and describe how this is going to go. Who are you voting for? This is for 2nd place. Radiaxo, Charles, and Matt. Anyone who wins this round will be your 2nd place. Radiaxo does take a slight lead over the other 2 players, but nobody has made a bunk. Nobody has made a mistake. Everybody is still in for the run. It's Charles and Matt. They are trying to fight for this. They can't just come 2nd. They need to come 1st. Radiaxo, he's trying to keep this as much as possible. Charles is right on this trail. Same with Matt. Matt has huge speed right here. He may be able to overtake Charles. Radiaxo does have a slight lead, but look at Matt's speed. Takes over 1. Is he able to take over 2? Look at this speed between Charles and Matt. They are trying to take him over. It's getting so close as Radiaxo is out of the running, leaving only 2 players left. It's between Charles and Matt. Matt has been wanting to get through this for so long, as Charles barely misses, but Matt has so much speed, as he will be your 2nd player to finish here, getting 2nd place.
What a great finish there by Matt. Tilted beyond belief. He got himself down into trouble after all the times that he could not finish the maps and the rounds. They were just up against the wall here. And listen, it was so hard. Is there one more? I don't think so.
I do believe that they are going to be fighting for 3rd place. So we have 1 more map left. I do believe so.
Okay. What? Not just 1 more map left. 1 more round left. Are we gonna be playing this one? Yeah. It seems.
Yes.
No. I guess they could just play 1 round and done, right? Because at this point in time, it doesn't really matter. They were both in finalist, right? So 1 more round and done. Even though they're not in finalist mode anymore, quote unquote, because of the server, they are still in finalist mode in our hearts. And yes, in technicality, they are as well. So 1 last round. My bad. I forgot that there was a difference between 3rd and 4th place, and it's going to be played by Radiaxo and Charles. What a comeback that would be for both of these players. Both of them were at 1 point in last place, and they nearly made it work to bring it back into 2nd position, but they just could not do it. Matt just bringing in the clutch. His clutch gene just came in, well, clutch.
I wouldn't agree with you more. Now it's Radiaxo versus Charles for this bronze medal for 3rd place. Are we going to have a Brazilian sweep, a 1-2-3, or is the Colombian man Charles going to take and tear this down? Quantum, take it away.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is for 3rd place. We saw Maddox absolutely dominate and win SAC. We then saw Matt stave off Radiaxo and Charles, the 2 that are left here, to get himself second place and get those bragging rights. However, Charles and Radiaxo are the two that remain. They neck and neck. They are equal on points. They are both in finalist mode. And now whoever wins this round wins third place. And whoever loses it gets fourth place. No matter what, you can hold your chin high. Even I've got all the pressure on myself. I can't even speak English anymore, stupid
French is coming out.
You can't even speak English. As Radiaxo has more speed over the no engine off block as Charles tries to catch up. Do you see Radiaxo? What a comeback. He was in fourth place as recently as just 8 rounds ago. He was so far down. He was 50 points behind at one point. Makes it back in, comes back, gets third place, and Charles gets himself fourth. It is a Brazilian sweep on the podium, but Colombia can still be proud that they have Charles in the top 4.
Well, Quantum, is not just Colombia who can be proud of themselves. Anyone who has participated in this tournament can be proud of themselves. There's been so many strong contestants, so many players who have fallen, who do not deserve to with how strong they are, how much they have played this game. But we do have to say, well played to everyone.
Oh man, I definitely hope that SRK is still awake, so he can bring us to the cameras. Is it camera time? He is awake. Let's go!
For everybody that doesn't know, we just hear SRK being like, "Hi, yeah, I'm awake. Yeah, so hopefully he can send us over. SRK, you gotta go sleep very, very soon. We'll end it off.
Yeah. We'll end it off quickly, but we still got to thank everyone who was here. 250 strong people were here to watch this grand finals, and even more people were watching the Brazilian and the Spanish casts over on Sayus and Beta's Trackmania BR channel. So if you guys want to go and support those guys, go right ahead. Those guys made an amazing cast of their own, I'm sure, even though I couldn't understand a lick of what they were saying. I'm sure what they were doing was A-OK, 10 out of 10 casting, and I hope that we brought the same kind of energy here as well over on the official English cast. Zatos, was there any parting words you wanted to say before we get on going and allow SRK his sweet, sweet bedge?
Well, there's not too many words I want to say except for thank you for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure. My apologies for not being here on the first day, but we have beautiful Quantum and SRK to carry the tournament so far. All of the players, very well played to them. GG to all. And one thing I want to say is, well done, Trackmania community. I always come back and I always adore to cast for you. There's no other place just like it. So thank you for this so far. Except for that, there's not too much to say from me. All I want to say is, if you do want to, please give us a follow at Trackmania Esports. We are doing a thing where we're going over to Flashpoint now, if I'm correct. If you
yes, we are moving over to Flashpoint, though this channel will stay Trackmania Esports. However, the Discord and everything else has turned into Flashpoint. So if you've not, Fastpoint has turned, yes, not Flashpoint. What am I talking about? Fastpoint. So if you guys want to go follow us and you've not done so yet, you can go onto Twitter. You can follow us on join the Discord. You can go subscribe to us on YouTube. And yeah, that'd be very, very great and lovely. Listen, SRK, I'll let you go to bed. I want to thank you so very much for everything that you've done. I want to thank Nats for everything in the background that he's done as well as an organizer. Listen, Nats, you did not drive anything during this weekend, but you made this weekend possible. So big thank you to Nats, everyone. Please give him a big, big heart and a big, big hug for this tournament taking place. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it on my end and Zatos' end. So SRK, I'm going to let you go to bed. Ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful evening. I'm going to have a wonderful rest of my afternoon. You have a wonderful rest of your night. You have a wonderful rest of your night. And
it's literally dark. I'm not even joking. It's dark. There's a bit of a difference.
And everyone else, have a wonderful rest of your Sunday.
Good night, guys.